That's me. Okay, it's 6:14. We're gonna start the meeting and call the meeting to order. This is welcome. You are here for the Manhattan Community Board 1 July full board meeting. I'm Tammy Meltzer, the chair. Sitting to my left is Alice Blank, our vice chair, and to my right, Mimi Flynn, who is our secretary, and this is her last meeting as secretary. Because she says last meeting altogether, but I keep hoping she'll come back at some point.
Oh my God.
We're not losing her for any other reason other than a new opportunity in another city, which is sad for us, a benefit for them, but really crappy for us. I'm just saying. So, yeah, this just really isn't the best. But, you know, we'll keep going. Yeah.
That's it, good for you.
And hopefully maybe she'll join us from afar maybe, and if she's on Zoom sometime. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Do I have to?
Yeah, right. I can imagine that not happening, but that's okay. Alrighty, so we're gonna start with our public session as we always do. We have public members of the public who have signed up to speak. They get 2 minutes each. We have a couple people who have signed up about one particular topic, which we're cool with. So we're gonna have them talk in order, each one's getting 2 minutes. Everybody understand where we're going? And then after that, we have our public hearing and a feasibility study done by David Lidwick, who's not gonna repeat the whole thing, but do a more summary presentation. So with that, we're gonna welcome, I don't have the sign-up sheet, Leo, for July. Do you have that?
Fine, no.
Do you have the intent?
Yeah, no, I understand, I just know
I
that.
have a public session.
Yeah, can you send that to me? Because I don't have it.
I should. Yeah, but I think it might be in the email.
Nope, she attached it.
Oh.
I'll look at that. Sorry. All right, so let me find the right one and we'll go from there. Maybe one.
Paul. Paul is first. Oh, first.
Paul, are you with us in the room or are you online? Is Paul online? Okay, so we'll send a request to unmute you.
Can you instruct them to say their names?
Yeah. I found the sign in. So, yes.
Hello, this is Paul Elkos.
Hi, Paul. Welcome to Community Board 1. You have 2 minutes. Please start.
Thank you for letting me talk. My name is Paul Elkos. I've been a sailor in North Cove Sailing since 2017. I had been working prior to that in the Brookfield Place Tower for numerous years as an associate at various banks. Since I've joined the club, I've gotten the opportunity to sail with people as part of the community, taking people out on community sails. I've gotten the opportunity to share Battery Park with family and give another perspective of what New York is. It's not just land, it's water. And one of the things I love about being at the North Cove is the time that is all the sailing and all the connection with other people as part of the sailing club. I've gotten to run the sailing camp and train children how to sail and interact with adults, teaching them how to sail. And I also learned while I was doing this, I'm urging you to please help us keep sailing alive in the North Cove. Whatever can be done to help that would be fantastic because it's really special. I'm going to cede my time, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joel. Sam from Han has signed, just so you know, we've got 5 people. I have Sam, and then I have, Sam signed up twice. I have Melanie, who's here. Okay. All right, so we'll go next. Sam? Hello? Sam, are you online? I'm Sam online.
Sam did mention that they have trouble coming over the subway, and they might not be attended, so.
Would you like to, okay, please stand and introduce yourself.
My name is Melanie Moore. I'm a resident in the financial district. I'm also a member of North Cove Sailing, which Paul was talking about. I want to talk about the Northwest Battery Park City Resiliency Project. While everyone in our club supports, climate resiliency in the project, we're asking the Battery Park City Authority to phase construction in Reach 5, which is encompasses North Cove Marina, to keep at least a portion of the marina open during construction, potentially switching it back and forth as needed, and also bringing in a qualified operator to run the marina so we can keep our sailing club running, and encourage, ongoing public access to the waterfront. According to the New York City Waterfront Revitalization Program, and specifically Policy 8, access to the water, including boating, must be preserved and enhanced. Policy 3 reinforces this by promoting recreational marinas and boating as part of the city's working waterfront, and shutting down the entire marina for 5 years contradicts both of these policies. But it's not just city planning that supports us, so does state law. The BPCA's own enabling legislation emphasizes public recreational access to the waterfront as a core purpose of the community. And it calls for parks and recreational facilities that serve the people of New York, not just after construction is complete, but during it as well. Our sailing club provides broad community services, including public sailing lessons, subsidized club memberships, and youth programs that give people of all backgrounds an affordable, accessible way to experience the Hudson. And we're asking for a solution that balances needed climate resiliency with public access to the water. Thank you for your time.
Okay, fantastic.
Then Sam is here now.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah, Sam.
Sam? Oh, hey, Sam. Welcome, please come on over, introduce yourself, and you have 2 minutes.
Sam An, I'm a resident of Battery Park City. I've been living in there since 2003. Became member of North Cove Sailing. It's done wonders for me. Knew zero thing about sailing. Started sailing, and it has also helped for this community and expand from connections with the club to other places in the country. So with the new project coming up, I would like to have the sailing club so that we can still have access to the water and also we can continue the community and expand the community. So thank you.
Okay, do you have anybody else who is with you who will speak tonight?
There's a few people online, I believe. Liz, Brenda.
Okay, let's go over and see who said yes to speak.
I have Elias.
Yes.
Okay,
Elias, go ahead.
do you mute them?
Elias Vanderberg. No. Okay. Next, anyone else in the room?
I have Sam and Joel who've spoken. They signed up. I have Elias. Is it Elias or?
Joel has not spoken, Paul has spoken, but Joel has not. Joel is online, that would be good.
I don't see Joel. I do see a lot of numbers.
Okay, if you are one of the people who has signed up to speak and you are dialing in from a phone number, could you please use the raise your hand feature so we can find you?
Are we gonna write a restaurant?
How do they unless?
We did not know. We hadn't heard from them until recently, as in, we met with them, we had a phone call introduction, and they were planning on coming to full board. So it will come up in the Battery Park City Committee, but not until September. Prior to that, it's full board today. There's a BPCA board meeting in August. And they're trying to get people to understand the fact that it's not just the parks that are closing, but that the IGY operator is no longer going to be involved. And so therefore that kills any kind of opportunities that they're having for North Cove Marina for community sailing, which is one of the benefits to the community, and trying to find a way that if the Battery Park City Authority is taking over said marina for whatever purposes, how they can try and work together with the community board and the authority. And this is our outreach so that people understand and know. It is the statistics and stuff that they quote in with us about losing how many, basically decimating the club if we're gonna close it for 4 years. So, it's, they do free public sailing, so, we're always a fan of free things for the community. It's an amenity, right? And it doesn't just serve the locals, it serves all of Lower Manhattan, so, yeah. So we're trying to make sure that whoever wants to speak now, because we don't have a meeting in August, that's a full robust meeting like this with everybody here, that they have the opportunity to do so. So it's a combination for all of that.
If you're looking to speak and have dialed in by phone, to unmute yourself,
Hello.
stars.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much.
This is Brendan. Hi.
Brendan,
you
can
hear
you
me?
please say your last name? Yes. Can you say your
Yes,
last name for the record?
Yes, my name is Brendan Clark. I'm calling from the harbor on a sailboat from the North Cove Sailing Club. I'm here with my friends Atis and yes, and I'm calling. I want to call and voice my support in favor of trying to keep the marina open during the revitalization project so that we can continue to have our community sailing club. I realize IGY is leaving, but I urge if there's any possible way for the construction to allow for access to the marina and access to sailing vessels to be able to use the marina. I've been a member of North Cove for about 5 years. Whenever visitors come, I take them out on a sail in the harbor. I take my friends out on sails in the harbor, my family members, and it's the most beautiful way to experience the city and the harbor from the water, from a sailboat, rather than like a ferry or some kind of motor vehicle. So it's really important to me. It's something that I spend a lot of time doing in the summer. It's great for the community. I considered moving to Battery Park City just for the express purpose of being in that area. And, because of the revitalization project, I kind of chose not to. But so it'd be a real shame if the area is like closed down for 4 years and we don't have access to sailboats into the water. And that's all I have to add, really. And I think that there's, it's in the laws there that there has to be community access to the public to the sailing. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Gotcha. Thank you very much for speaking up. And I just want to make sure, because I've had a couple repeat signers, that we did get everyone from North Cove who is looking. I've got a lot of people who've joined online who I want to say thank you, even though they've said, no, I don't want to speak. The last person was Elise Van Denver.
Joel hasn't spoken yet.
Star 6 to unmute yourself. I can't unmute you.
So you're saying it to both Joel and Elise?
Yeah.
Somebody unmuted. Nope, they muted again.
Oh, there we go. All righty. I'm gonna move on to the next person who signed up. I think that if Joel can figure it out before the next person, then I think we're okay. Nancy, you? No, it says, would you like to speak? No, I do not wish to speak. Okay, never mind. We'll get that. Let's see. Okay. Testimony. I would like to double check that Paul has spoken. Yep, I got Paul.
Oh, we got one online.
Okay, have them go.
Elise Vanderburg.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Go ahead and speak.
Yes,
Elise,
can you
go
guys
ahead.
hear me?
Yes,
Hang on. Somehow I am. Okay, let
we
me
hear you
mute this
loud
one.
and
Can you guys
clear.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I
And
finally made it through. I've been hearing all my name. So let me walk away from the computer because I get it. So as I think, a lot of the Norfolk members-
and now we can't hear you.
Walk
did
away
you
from the
go?
computer.
Where did you go? Goodness, I hope she's not on overboard.
You gotta
guys
go
hear me?
closer to your computer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry. I hear like multiple voices in the background, but like all the others, I'm a member of North Cove. I'm a resident of Battery Park City. I've been here since 2010. I was a member of prior student programs.
What's happening?
Elise, you're walking away. Come back to your computer. We can't hear you.
Walk back towards your computer. We
Don't move.
cannot hear you.
Speak
And
into the
don't
microphone.
move.
Yeah.
Stop, stay
Okay,
exactly where you are and please speak.
That's it, that's good.
Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it this way then. So somehow the thing is a little bit messed up because I'm on phone and on computer. So just to repeat what I just said, as Paul and Joel and Melanie and the others, I'm also a member of the North Cove Sailing Club. I've been a member since, like Paul, 2017, and been in Battery Park since 2010. I was a member of the prior sailing club also, so we've been going through the discussions 10 years ago also, and I do think that both then and now the importance of a sailing community in Battery Park is really important. As I think Paul indicated, there's lots of kids that have learned to sail, there's lots of grown-ups that have learned to sail, lots of, like just random people in Manhattan. It's friends, it's family, but also a lot of people have become friends. I know there's a lot of people in the neighborhood that enjoy the marina a lot, but also the sailing boats, whether they go on them or whether they just go by them. And I think it also provides a very good community feel in Battery Park City itself. I think there's a lot of initiatives in Battery Park City. I hope we can keep a lot of that, or if not all of that, during the resiliency project. It seems a very large project, and it would be great to, I think, Melanie's point, if we could either keep the marina partly open and have an operator on site, like I think it was agreed with Brookfield to have an operator in the marina and have the operator run both a club and a school. So it would be great if we can keep doing that for the time of the project, and also, of course, after that.
Okay, thank
Happy
you
to
very,
take any
very much.
questions.
Yeah, we're good. All righty. So with that, I think that is there anybody else in the room who has signed up to speak for the public session? God bless you, whoever that was. Hearing and seeing no hands in the room, hearing and seeing no other hands online.
There's two hands online. If they type *6 on their keypad, they can unmute.
Okay.
But otherwise, so far they're not unmuted.
Okay.
So I think we've got it.
Yeah, you gotta move it.
Yeah. We'll just add the two more names to the.
Okay, got it. Alrighty, apologies, because they are not unmuting, we are going to move on. I assume one of them may be the lovely lady who just spoke. All right, with that, let's close out we will see you in August at the Battery Park City meeting. We look forward to hearing back, and you're working with Zach to get a separate meeting. All right,
I've been making that.
Yeah.
great. And then you'll come to the September Battery Park City Committee meeting. Where's Jeff?
It's Thursday, it's the September 3rd, whatever the first Thursday is of
Right.
September, so I can't.
And then we can talk about updates and progress and things, because it's important to get it up and rolling and conversations going before the first shovel gets in there. All right, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. We're gonna work on, moving into our public hearing. A note for board members. Today is an energy conservation And at 10 o'clock, I believe, the air conditioning goes off in this room. So my plan is to be out of here long before the AC starts coming down. Everybody with me in agreement?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so moving on to the public hearing, we close the public session. David, take it away.
Or clicker.
Yep. Oh, sorry. Do I have to boot myself up? For what? Sharon? No, no problem. So stop dropping. I'm in the. Oh, good. Nope. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's the best.
Well, I appreciate just not being very.
Nice idea.
There we go.
No, you're good.
I like it.
You're good. All right. David.
It's not changing on the.
It takes a second between computer to that. It looks like it's changing to me online.
Looks great.
So.
Yes.
Please turn off your phones.
Okay.
There'll be a little lag.
Gotcha.
Oh, rapid lag.
Just look there.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, I will try and keep this short and sweet. My name is David Ludwig. I'm a recent graduate from the Pratt Institute's Urban and Community Planning Master's Program. I undertook this project as a community planning fellow with the Fund for the City of New York. As part of my fellowship assignment, I've been working on this study of parks governance structures from around the city to evaluate what lessons can be learned from them and how they might be applied to the East River waterfront here in Manhattan Community Board 1. With that, I will get right into it. So, the East River waterfront, as we know it, is set to undergo pretty significant changes over the course of the next few decades. As I'm sure many of you experienced, Superstorm Sandy brought the issue of coastal resiliency to the forefront of people's minds. EDC is planning to address this issue through the FIDI Seaport plan south of the Brooklyn Bridge and the East Side Coastal Resiliency Plan north of Pier 36. East Side Coastal Resiliency Project has already seen the closure of large sections of open space in the area, and the FIDI Seaport plan, on the other hand, has yet to begin. And while the plan does promise to create new open space south of the Brooklyn Bridge, this is the lowest priority of the project and is set to take 15 to 20 years to implement. So with these projects, while these projects are clearly necessary, they also threaten to put even more pressure on the little active and passive recreation space that's available in this area. Meanwhile, the open spaces along the East River are administered in a piecemeal fashion by an alphabet soup of city and federal agencies, and much of the revenue that's generated in this section of the East River, rather than being invested back into the maintenance of it, returns either to the city's general fund or to the private tenants leasing land along the waterfront. So another barrier to improvement that I noted for the waterfront open spaces is the continuing shortfall in the Parks Department's ability to meet maintenance needs. The graph on the left shows that despite promises by the successive mayoral administrations to have the parks budget be at least 1% of the total city's budget, this has yet to come to fruition. Meanwhile, recommended maintenance across the city continues to rise while the share of needs met remains mostly flat. You can see that from the graph and the chart at the bottom right. Basically, it's hovering right around 16% on average for the share of needs met. And that was up to 2017, but the trends remain the same. So it is also very important to note that according to US Census data, across Lower Manhattan, the number of people aged 18 and below and 65 and up has increased between 2010 and 2020, especially amongst those over 65. At the same time, a large proportion of people in Lower Manhattan have to travel more than half a mile to access outdoor recreation space that is at least 1 acre in size. And so with all that in mind, I'll get into a little more detail around what I consider to be the study area. This map shows some of the major point of interest that I identified along the East River waterfront. And this highlights the patchwork administration of these sites as it stands. As you can see, it's, you know, an immense number of organizations, city administrations, and even the federal government at the Coast Guard site. So this chart is at the right is from a study conducted by Rebuild by Design in 2018, and my work is in part building on this report. They outline some of the governance types for parks in use around the city and country more broadly, and this helped me to identify the parks that I would use as case studies, those being Central Park Conservancy, Bronx River Alliance, Hudson River Park, and Brooklyn Bridge Park. Ultimately, the study concludes that Bronx River Alliance is the strongest model to emulate, with some caveats, and I'll get into that in the later slides. But I think it's important to note that since starting this project, Bronx River Alliance have been somewhat difficult to get in touch with, and some of the information around the organization is a bit dated compared to the other parks that I investigated. And just to reiterate, collecting this information was mainly meant to emphasize the wide variety of administrative forms, to give people an idea of what's out there, the lengths these organizations had to go through to become established, and some of the positives and negatives associated with each. They're clearly not all directly comparable to the East River waterfront, but understanding their idiosyncrasies is important for this early phase of planning, for a similar project for the East River waterfront. So Central Park Conservancy, just briefly, I think the most important thing to highlight is that their total revenue amounted to $200 million in the 23-24 fiscal year, and that amounts to $237,000 about per acre per year. The vast majority of that coming from contributions, gifts, and grants. The Bronx River Alliance, significantly less money, but it still amounts to about $27,000 per acre, with, again, the vast majority being contributions, gifts, and grants. Also wanted to draw attention to the fact that this is the most recent data I was able to find from the 20 to 21 fiscal year. At the moment, that seems to be somewhat less active than previous years, at least when it comes to outside communication. And so Hudson River Park, another excellent example of, so Hudson River Park, 22 to 23 fiscal year, raised $55.9 million. They're a very more unique case compared to Central Park Conservancy and Bronx River Alliance, because most of their funding comes from lease and occupancy permits. They ultimately have about $100,000 per acre per year. And the majority of their funds are coming from the agreements that were made between the city and state and the local area to raise money from lease and occupancy permits and parking and fees. And so Brooklyn Bridge Park, total revenue 22 to 23, $30 million, amounting to $364,000 per acre. More than half of their revenue comes from payment in lieu of taxes paid by the commercial developments that are on the piers in the park. And the rest of their income comes from lease interest income, rents and permits, and other fees. Okay, so I know there's a lot of information, and this is sort of truncated, so I'll just try to synthesize some of what I found, and then we'll go from there. So Central Park Conservancy, they began as a more supplementary organization that helped the Parks Department make ends meet. And they have their roots ultimately in the 1970s, and then are fully established by 1985-ish. Eventually, they transitioned into managing the entire park, including fundraising, operations and maintenance, programming, events, and the design and bidding for capital projects. Ultimately, the process from supplementary to the main organization administering the park would take 13 years. They are governed by 53 trustees, of whom 5 are ex officio, held by elected officials, and 5 are mayoral appointments. According to the bylaws, 2 of the 53 trustees are elected to represent the interests of the surrounding community, and they have equal voting power when compared to the other trustees. The vast majority of the revenue, as I mentioned, is from individual donations. However, revenue generated within the park from concessions goes back into the park for its operation and maintenance. One of its main strengths is that it has always been known as a world-class park. This is a huge strength for the Conservancy's ability to fundraise. East River Waterfront doesn't have that exact same reputation, but I believe, and I think others would agree, that it holds a lot of weight in the imagination of New Yorkers as an important historical site. So moving on, the Bronx River Alliance. They were filling a gap. They were cleaning up the Bronx River when the city and state agencies wouldn't. Their role as a partner of the Parks Department and a liaison between the public and private sphere means that community control is very strong. The working groups doing the work on the ground, those being education, ecology, greenway, and outreach, they directly elect 8 of 25 members to the board of directors. And the board's responsibility of deciding organizational policy also ensures that their original mission stays at the core of their work. One of their major strengths is their consistent engagement with local stakeholders. As there isn't much revenue to be captured along the Bronx River, this engagement has been of major importance to their fundraising capabilities. On the other hand, the Alliance doesn't have many assets from which to extract revenue. They are fairly reliant on grants from the Parks Department and their own ability to fundraise. So while it's clear the organization has made huge improvements to the river since the 1970s, it can be difficult to motivate people to continually donate to an asset that they can only in theory enjoy in the future rather than right now, as is the case in Central Park. And so where those two parks were created through community organizations and eventually given more responsibility over time, the next two, Brooklyn Bridge and Hudson River, were created through legislative acts at the city and state levels, something that in both cases can take decades to accomplish. But there's still important lessons to be learned from their experiences. So Brooklyn Bridge Park, created through an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, between the city and state. The MOU stipulated that the park had to be fully self-funding, which ultimately decided for them whether or not there would be commercial development within the park. Still, though, this ensures that the park always has money for operations and maintenance. There is a 17-member board of directors, with 14 of these directors being appointed by the mayor, deputy mayor, and deputy mayor of housing and economic development. It would take 8 years for an advisory council to be formed, and their recommendations to the board are non-binding. In an interview that I had with a member of the board, I was told that the relationship can sometimes be competitive as their priorities tend to differ, but the advisory board generally, with the advisory board generally being made up of people living near the park and the board of directors more concerned about bringing people in from outside of the local area. But ultimately, the governance structure is not the most focused on community control, especially with so many board members being appointed by people in a higher office. So finally, Hudson River Park, also created through legislation, this time passing through the state legislature. This was a years-long process and took multiple attempts until it was finally signed by the governor. The park is composed of a 13-member board with 5 members being appointed by the governor and 3 by the Manhattan Borough President. Also a 40-member advisory council on which the city and state have equal representatives, 5 members each. However, this council's opinions are similar to Brooklyn Bridge Park, non-binding in nature ultimately. One of the park's major advantages was it's being designed on land that was almost completely underdeveloped. What they've built today takes into account things from accessibility to micromobility, with nearly all of these improvements being funded through revenues generated within the park. However, it seems that community control isn't as much of a priority given the fact that the advisory council recommendations are non-binding and that a majority of board members are appointed by local and state officials rather than through a majority vote. So how can these lessons be applied to the East River waterfront? I conducted a SWOT analysis to get a sense of the East River's strengths and weaknesses and the potential threats and opportunities for the waterfront. So in terms of strengths, the waterfront between Pier 42 Park, and I can pull up the map because I think that would be helpful for this section. Save. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So the waterfront between Pier 42 Park and Whitehall Terminal is only 17 acres, much more manageable than some of the spaces that we've looked at. The active and passive recreation spaces that are there are well liked, well kept, and have amenities that cater to a wide range of people. Based on the interviews I conducted, EDC, who currently administers large sections of the waterfront, is looking for a trusted partner to engage in the work of Parks Administration. And fortunately, there are already a lot of strong, well-established advocacy groups that are all dotting the waterfront. In terms of weaknesses, right now, the available amenities are concentrated to one asset along the waterfront, that being the East River Park. Rather than being spread out, And this is already putting a lot of pressure on this space. And that will only increase as more coastal resiliency work is undertaken and more sections of the waterfront are closed. The other active and passive recreation spaces along the waterfront are disconnected from each other, and navigating between them leaves a lot to be desired. Additionally, there is no indoor recreation space anywhere along the waterfront, meaning that this area is really only suitable for the summer. And even then, there are large swaths of it that lack shade infrastructure, seating infrastructure. It can be pretty uncomfortable if you've walked around down there. So looking to opportunities, creating and improving the connections between the available active and passive recreation space will ultimately alleviate pressure on sections like East River Park and Pier 42 Park. If an organization is to come out of, and this presentation was for the East River Working Group, who are working to create potentially a nonprofit organization to partner with EDC and get into the administration of the study area. And so if an organization is to come about, it can enshrine community control as a major priority from the get-go, rather than adding it as an addendum later on. Air rights over piers, something that's been utilized in Hudson River Park and in Brooklyn Bridge Park, are a valuable potential source of capital, and that can be used to begin making improvements in the area. And myself and others who I've spoken to have identified the Newmarket site, that's north of Pier 15, 16, and 17, as a strong contender for an indoor community recreation space, something the waterfront is sorely lacking. We already know that the Marine Terminal, Pier 15 and Pier 36, and the Seaport Marketplace, based on my research, are generating about $4 million in revenue. Just from that alone, it would amount to $235,000 per acre of available revenue. And there is a precedent for using that captured revenue from EDC. At the Seaport, the Howard Hughes organization was required to give $250,000 for the Seaport Museum. And they also did something similar with the Hudson River Park Trust. Okay, so wrapping it up, potential threats. Achieving self-sufficiency will be important given limited resources at the Parks Department. This will require identifying other sources of revenue for the waterfront. And as I'm sure many are aware, the current administration is threatening the funding of coastal resiliency projects, something that the city at large will have to contend with. If these resiliency projects do secure funding, they are ultimately likely to deactivate potential sources of revenue along the waterfront, something that will have to be planned for by whatever nonprofit organization comes out of the East River Working Group. And finally, at the moment, the city's budget forces neighborhoods to compete against one another for limited financial resources for open space, and as a result of its declining commitment to the Parks Department. The revenues that come in from activity on the waterfront go back to the general fund, and the communities that host these revenues get no say in how that money is used. This is a source of segmentation and separation that we see now, and something that will have to be overcome. And yeah, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take questions.
Okay. Eric,
Thanks
A lot.
well, first of all, thank you, David Ludwig. This is his second time. We asked him to condense it. So if you have like a ton of detailed questions, he did a really robust presentation at land use this month. Yes, land use. So I encourage you all to listen to that. If you're at all interested in, everybody should have gotten an email that I've re-forwarded from the East River Working Group about naming of a potential organization. You know, things are kind of happening. If you want to be a part of it, please just email and let Zach know, and we're happy to make sure everybody gets in and on. You know, you can't be everywhere for everything. We want to make sure we can do what we can. Eric, you're first.
Yes, so thank you for that. Very informative, very informative. I have a question. When these nonprofit organizations are created, especially, let's say, Central Park Conservancy, does the Parks Department still contribute the same amount as they would have, like as a per acre basis? Or with the Central Park Conservancy model, it's yours, you manage it, you fund it?
At least in the case of Central Park Conservancy, it's entirely up to them. They are concessions generated in the park goes back to it. Whatever revenue their programming brings in goes back to the park. They decide on capital improvements, events, pretty much everything. It's more or less out of the Parks Department's hands, although I do believe they still contribute some horticulturalists and gardeners, but I'd have to double check that for you.
I could, and if you want, I know the answer to that, having worked there, which, and I was there when the deal was negotiated. And
The chair recognizes Laura, please
Sorry.
jump in.
I'm sorry, I couldn't find the hand thing. My understanding is that the agreement with parks could not reduce their like percentage amount that they were contributing to Central Park, even though Central Park was raising all that private money. Like that was the deal, that Central Park's success would not diminish the, formula of money that was going to Central Park.
And I will add to that is, Eric, there's what starts to be the benefits is how the city allots funding has to do with expense and capital. We know this very well, whether you're a plaza partner like our indomitable Rosa Chang, there we go, hello. Doesn't necessarily make it any easier to getting things done. It makes it better to get some things streamlined, and some things. That's okay, figure out where we are. Okay, mute them. Okay, gotcha. But at the end of the day, it doesn't, Zach, I need you to mute whoever is 347 or Bruto. Okay, go on. It doesn't yes and no is the long and the short of it. For example, if things were as quick as we would like them to, Gotham Park would have had bathrooms from the day that they opened.
Yeah.
The day that they opened. It is something that the community board has advocated for, the community has advocated, Gotham Park in its own has advocated, every organization, but they still don't have bathrooms. Eventually they will, but it doesn't mean that if DOT still managed it, it would have bathrooms, right? It just ends up being another organization to bring the problems forward and find solutions for in a very dedicated way, where when you take a look at DOT, you can think of, they do everything now from restaurants and streets to truck routes to sidewalk. They have 1,025 projects in the city all around pedestrian safety. Are bathrooms their number one thing? No, but I would think for most of us who need bathrooms, it is, right? And so having an organization allows you to be able to focus funding, to raise it, or to speak to an agency. And then work, like Rosa works the problem, right? I'm using you as an example. Because think about where we are to where we started and the advocacy that she's done with the community board and the advocacy she's done with agencies. It's a great example of how we can actually really make our public realm work in a way, because we are at a point that our city no longer funds things in public parks the way that they could or should be, because the city itself is strapped for money for other things like mental health, homeless, safety. I mean, I kind of look at it as, the old jokes way back when where, how many credit cards you have, and the guy would open the wallet and it'd be like, and that's kind of what the city is looking for, the things that it has to do. So it's not a solid answer, but it reflects what Laura is saying. It reflects our experience with what Rosa's gone through and what the board has seen.
So it's, all the funding will have to be obtained by the organization. Pretty much. Yep.
If you want it done quicker, yeah. Morton.
Yes, thank you for coming. I happen to be an avid tennis player, and I have a lot of friends downtown. I have a lot of contact with the tennis playing community, and it's been great since they opened the 6 additional courts in the new East River Park. It went from 4 courts to now 10 courts, Pier 42, 4, and 6 more. I've heard that they plan to build even more courts north of the newly opened 6. Is that correct?
I couldn't tell you for
Oh, you
sure.
don't have to?
Yeah.
You have to request that information from the Parks Department.
Oh, okay. But it looks like they're laying out some more courts on the construction. And if you talk about the contiguous nature, right now, if you go along the East River, you have to go all the way out on Delancey Street and into Delancey Street and cross the bridge. It isn't contiguous, and a lot of people have trouble finding the courts and go over the wrong bridge, and you can't go from the Battery all the way up without going back into the streets. So that, I assume that's something that they're working on, and eventually it's gonna be one contiguous use.
That's the ideal. I think connecting the spaces is meant to make it more pleasant to walk through, because yeah, I know that area, it's rough. And then also to make it so that people have an easier time getting to the other amenities, and so that and not everyone is concentrated in East River Park, for
Yeah,
example.
because right now, to cross the Delancey Street Bridge, you have to really go up and down, and it's harder certainly for, there are older people who have trouble crossing that bridge.
Yeah.
Not me, but older people, so.
And it's also partially because of how many organizations are administering these different sites. It's hard, it's already difficult for city agencies to communicate between each other, and so it just adds to it.
But it's amazing improvement, and just over this summer.
In the interest of time, I've been asked by Tammy to be the time monitor, so everyone gets a minute.
I'm sorry.
Sort of opine here, just not to be rude, but I.
Yes, you are.
Always the time pitcher.
She stepped
I was
up.
told 1 minute
Any
not.
more questions? I'm thankful.
So.
Okay. Anybody else? Richard?
Yes, thank you for this. Appreciate the report. You cited really tremendous variance between the dollars per park, dollars per acre for each of the different parks. Huge variances. Recognizing always more money is better, of course. Did you get a sense as to what minimum would be is required, or a target number that provides for a vital park?
I wouldn't go so far as to put a solid number on it, but just based on the revenue, the publicly available information about revenue that's generated, between the Marine Terminal, Pier 15 and Pier 36, and the Seaport Marketplace, those sites generate $4 million in revenue. Obviously, not all of that would go back directly into the park. But that would amount to $235,000 per acre, assuming the 17 acres that's below Pier 42, I believe. And so that's already a great starting point. When you consider that the amount of money, let's see, it's Hudson River Park has $101,000 per acre. The Central Park Conservancy has $237,000 per acre, and so I would say, if looking at the quality of those parks, that's
How much did you pay per acre with the 4 million?
That would be $235,000 per acre, assuming 17 acres of land.
But again,
Yeah, you're not capturing all of that revenue.
right,
all
you're
at
not
once.
capturing all of it, and things have changed since
Yeah.
he started the study. Okay. Next.
Yes.
Do we have anybody online with the hand up? Nope, seeing nobody. I want to say thank you very much to David. We have enjoyed having you as part of community board. We hope that you enjoy our parks and come visit us in the new park when we get it up and separated and named and running and everything.
Next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I should go sailing soon.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, if you while you can.
Yeah.
Go sailing while you can. Exactly. Alrighty, well, thanks very much. And with that, we're gonna close the public, oh wait, do I have anybody online who had questions? I don't think so. So the public hearing, I do need to make sure that I checked with the attendees. Do I have any attendees who had questions about the public hearing? Seeing no questions from the public for the public hearing is now closed at 7:03, and we go into the business session. Again, for those who are here, For the business session, it is board members only. We start with the adoption of the June 2025 minutes, and then we go into our updates from our elected officials. All righty?
Minutes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot, sorry. I'm already gone. Amoruso?
Well, you have to, don't we have a vote on it?
Oh, yeah, we gotta do.
Yeah, this is roll call vote for the
No, no,
minute.
no, what I'm saying is, somebody have to say we want to vote on it now, yes or no, or we're done with that?
Does somebody need a second?
I think so, that's what I'm talking.
Amoruso, can you hear me, Amoruso?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mark, remember, all votes need to have a camera on when you're voting, and that goes for Mark, Joel, Paul, thank you, I see your faces, Santiago, Ushma.
Matt?
I'm working on it. I have technical issues. Again.
Yep, text with Lucy, I'm sure she can help you. Okay, hit it.
Arden? Blank.
Like, yes.
Thank you. Brown Kennedy? Cameron?
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell?
Cassell, yes.
Thank you. Chang?
Yes.
Thank you. Chapman? Thank you. Charkoudian?
Yes.
Thank you. Cole?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Coleman?
Yes.
Thank you. You guys see your name and all that stuff. Corman?
Corbin, yes.
Thank you. Kucha?
Kuchia, yes.
Thank you. Curtis?
Curtis, yes.
Thank you. Dimick?
Dimick, yes.
Thank you. Flynn? Yes. Thank you. Or Flynn, yes. Friedman?
Friedman, yes.
Thank you. Galloway? Thank you. Goldstein?
Goldstein, yes.
Thank you. Goodkind?
Good kind, yes.
Thank you. Fernandez?
And yes.
Thank you. Ershad? James?
Saying.
It was the minutes.
Oh, minute.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. You're gonna do.
Okay.
Pennell?
No, yes.
Thank you. Capel?
Copel, yes.
Thank you. Lerner?
Joe is not here today.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Lewinson? Lyon?
Lyon, yes.
Thank you. Meltzer?
Meltzer, yeah.
Inslee?
Inslee, yes.
Thank you. Moore?
Moore, yes.
Thank you. Portia Corey?
Yes.
Thank you. Rios?
Yes.
Thank you. Robinson?
Robinson. Yes.
Thank you. Rossi?
Frosty, yes.
Thank you. Scott?
Scott, yes. There's two.
Other
Scott.
Scott? Sean Scott?
Yes.
Wait,
Wait,
Sean.
you're John.
Sean. John.
You're John.
John.
John Scott.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yes.
Sean Scott. Thank you, Sean Scott.
I heard Chairman.
Shear. Maybe somebody else. would be-
Jared?
Oh, yeah. Star.
Star, yes.
Jimmy Sonner. Farrison.
Here, yes.
Thank you. Thompson.
Thompson, yes.
Thank you. Townley. You.
You, yes.
Thank you. Zelter.
Zelter, yes.
Thanks. It passes.
Awesome, thank you. We are now rocking for business with how many people on board?
38.
With 38 on.
No.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Oh,
Bushma. We did call you. I thought you said yes.
Okay, I didn't hear it. I was waiting. But my daughter says you called my name, so maybe I just didn't understand.
Well, yeah, I did call your name and then we marked you as absent.
So, yeah, nope, you're
The
here.
whole time, though.
All right. So I think we're good. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, is Carlos here tonight? Can I see Carlos from Goldman's office? No. All right. And I do not see him online. Okay, so first person up is gonna be Dan then, from Senator Kavanaugh's office. Welcome, Dan.
Hey, everybody, Dave, Senator Kavanaugh's office. Hi. I guess just a couple of things. I'm a little bit stealing the Congress members' office's thunder, but they wrote a letter to the General Service Administration, GSA, regarding a proposed fence adjacent to the Moynihan Courthouse that I think you guys are going to be talking about tonight. Our office signed on to that letter opposing the installation of that fence. The other thing is we're going to be doing office hours in August. I can send out the details. We're still scheduling the location, but we'll have the community team there and you can come and, you know, if you have issues, we can start a case for you. And I'll be there as well. And then the last thing that I had was a reminder to people, and it's probably on a lot of your radar, but the DDC is going to be doing a design workshop tomorrow at 6 p.m. where you can talk about, you know, they are accepting community feedback about the design of the borough-based jail on White Street.
Are you gonna present the design? Sorry.
So I don't.
No, right? They have no design.
Yeah, but they're gonna, I don't know what the structure is exactly, but they will be able to give feedback, and that's gonna be at the lobby of the Surrogate Court. It's 31 Chamber Street from 6 to 8. And I'll leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, sure.
Anybody have any questions for Dan?
Happy summer.
Thank you. Happy summer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Lane Sohn from Assemblymember Glick's office, I think, got that name.
Hi, Hi. I mostly just wanted to introduce myself. I'm new. My name is Lane Stone. I'm the community liaison now with Assemblymember Glick's office. So think of me as the new Roy. I do not have a card yet, but if anyone wants my information, I'm happy to share that. We have two quick updates. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers released a draft of their report on the New York and New Jersey harbor and tributary study. So they just did a public information session about that last week. And that's to enhance coastal resiliency. They had 3 actionable items that did not include Lower Manhattan. So we'll be, Assemblymember Glick will be submitting a public comment during the public comment period, which ends August 25th, about her frustration and disappointment that it appears the Army Corps of Engineers will not be focusing on Lower Manhattan. And then the second update is that our office is happy to report that on June 30th, Governor Hochul signed Assemblymember Glick's bill reauthorizing the city's school zone speed camera program for another 5 years. So that's until 2030. Yeah, nice to meet you all so much. Thank you. Zone SOH.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you for coming. You're not the new Roy. You are Lane, our new rep. So welcome to the fray. Don't worry, leave your number. We'll use it early and often. Okay, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, so moving along, Assemblymember. Who else do we have from Assembly members? I don't think
Oh, I see
anybody.
waving in the back.
Really? Who's over there? Hey, Fanny, nice to see you. Hi, Fanny. From Assemblymember Lee's office. Welcome. Come on over. Really quick. Make sure the cameras can find you guys. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Just like, what Dan said, we signed on to that letter, about the fence around the, White House. We also recently sent a letter to, the federal officials, heavily criticizing the dangerous cuts to the SNAP program and outlining the cuts potentially devastating consequences for New Yorkers. The other thing that I have to say is that we also have mobile office hours in different locations throughout the district. We're still mapping out the August location schedule, so we will be sending that out once we have that ready. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions? We're rolling along here. Thank you very much. Robin, you're next from the mayor's office. Robin's online. Yep.
Still there?
Yeah. Wait, go on.
I'm editing it online.
Oh, because I don't
I saw Robin.
I saw Robin before, but.
I saw her there, so we'll come back to her. That's okay. Andrew Chang.
Hey.
Whoop. Robin, you good?
I'm good.
Okay,
I
awesome.
I wanted to say hello, everybody. I wanted to give you a little bit more information about tomorrow night's design workshop that Dan had mentioned. It's being held, as he said, at 31 Chambers Street in the Surrogates Court. There will be an introduction and a presentation, probably 20-25 minutes. And then the group will break into two groups, a Chinese speaking group and an English speaking group, to have discussions about the design, what people are interested in seeing and doing. And I understand that both Mandarin and Cantonese translations and speakers will be available. So we hope to see you. It's an important community engagement, and I hope we'll see you there. Otherwise, I just have a few items. I know you have a big agenda and it's your last meeting for the summer, but I've spoken to you before about the mayor's drive to remove illegal firearms from New York City streets. And as of last week or so, more than 3,000 firearms have been removed from New York City streets in 2025. We've seen a decrease in shootings because of that. And I think despite what happened this week, it's a very good statistic. Animal care centers. I know many of you have probably been reading in the press about some of the issues at ACC. And the mayor announced a new $1 million investment in the animal care centers, one of which is Manhattan and the other of which is in Queens. The Queens one recently opened or reopened. The money will be earmarked for training more people to staff the locations. And the mayor asked that people consider adding a pet to their families because the population of pets at the ACC centers are quite large. The other thing I wanted to mention to you, and this is directed to teachers or parents of children in New York City public schools, that the cell phone and electric devices policy ban has been approved. It was approved by the state legislature, and it was recently approved by the panel for educational policy. So stay tuned for that. And if there are questions, great. And if not, have a great rest of the summer.
Oh, you're not getting off that soon. Sorry.
I know. I figured I'd be back for some of the other committee reports, but I can do it now.
Hands up. We're going to start with Pat Moore and then Justine.
Hey, Robin, how are you? Happy
Hello,
belated
my
birthday.
friends. Hi, Pat. How are you?
I'm well. I have a question. So across the street, they moved all of the vendors off of the Brooklyn Bridge, and now many of them are across the street in front of the City Hall and in the plaza, and it is filthy over there. There are people sitting on benches, eating food, leaving their garbage. Every night when we leave a meeting, we walk by and there are rats running back and forth. Is there anything you can do to help us get that cleaned up?
Is that in City Hall Park? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, right across, it's in the plaza, right
It's
where
on
the train station is. East Plaza.
It's the East Plaza of City Hall Park, so it's outside the fence
Oh, okay.
from
On
corner
Center
of
Street, basically.
Yes, the
Along
corner of
Center Street.
Chambers, all the way down to where the driveway entrance is and the car is sitting there.
Yeah. I will see what we can do. I don't know what the vending
might-
restrictions might be in that area, but I will circle back with you when I get more information.
Great, thanks, Robin.
Robin, I sent an email to Parks on this, asking for more trash cans, because there aren't trash cans there. I will copy you in.
Oh, okay. That would be a good start, I think.
Yeah, probably could use some help. Pat, you done?
You done,
And
Pat?
Justine,
Justine and then Eric. Did you?
Hello, Robin, again,
hi,
happy birthday.
Justine. Thank you.
Nice to see you. I'm gonna ask you about the design for the jail. I know the meeting's tomorrow night. You were saying
Yes.
25-minute presentation. Do they actually have a designer? And they've got someone who's gonna do this, they've picked, or they're coming up with plan? Like, what is, where are we?
I don't know what that will be, but I think it's sort of a prelude to the discussions that will happen, whether they're the dimensions, the location, the specifications. But the purpose of the workshop is to get community input on the community parts of that place, the land, the area.
Okay.
So I don't know what, I haven't seen a presentation. I don't know what it's going to be. I will see it at the same time you do.
You good?
I just wanna ask, will this be online or anyhow recorded? And can you make
I don't
comments?
know if it'll be recorded. It will not be live streamed.
Okay.
Robin,
will
I will,
check.
I'm gonna tag into that to say that we filed a FOIL from Community Board One asking for what the, for what feedback was given of the, two by, what do you call that panel? Do you remember what you call the panel where all the architects looked at it?
Peer review.
Peer review committee. We asked for any of the information that was not proprietary related to security, so we could hear what professionals had to say, because that was not shared. Even at the last CAB meeting, they said, oh, absolutely, we should see that, that they could talk about it. We know they can't talk about it because they all had to sign NDAs. So then we got a letter saying that we would have to FOIL that information. So we did file a FOIL, but I'm kind of saying it's a little bit on the ridiculous side to be told in a CAB meeting, oh, well, you should, the people who participated can talk, when we knew they couldn't because they had to sign that they couldn't. And we asked for not, redacted information from the city, and they said, oh, we'll get back to you, it shouldn't be a problem, and the problem answer was FOIL it.
Okay.
So we FOILed it. I would like to just see if you could help us get that information less than 10 years after the jail is built.
There we go. Why don't we talk offline tomorrow, and you can give me more details about what you're doing, when you filed it, and see if I can get any information.
Yep, we'll just send you the email. That's great. Eric, you're next.
Yeah, hi, Robin.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
My question, good. It's about 320 Pearl Street and the low barrier men's homeless shelter. Is there any update? I know that Randy Maestro took a tour of it last month. I'd like to know if there's any update.
I didn't know that Randy Mastro took a tour of it last month. I do know that the deputy mayor.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Apologies, it was the other.
Miles Gustaf was there. I think, Tammy, I can't hear you, but I think that you're going to hear from Tammy or the board about the latest on that, and I will make, a comment then if I can. But what's going on, in short, is for the moment after the tour, and I know that there's been a lot of time and effort spent on this project over the last year. There were a lot of people on the tour, many from the board, some elected officials or their representatives. And it was, I guess, the second week in June that the tour was held. I thought the board did a great job in explaining the issues to the deputy mayor. I think that Tammy may want to talk about the response from the city that was received by the board, and the elected officials who represent this area. Tammy, tell me.
I'm not really sure you'd like to hear my response just yet, because there's not a ton of overwhelming partnership in feel. The meeting that was had, the community has asked for a one-on-one meeting with the deputy mayor for over a year at this point. We didn't get that. What we got was a 10-minute session before, the deputy mayor was on a sightseeing tour of her new portfolio. And we were invited to sit and speak for 10 minutes. We had specifically requested that the meeting be held at the school or just outside the school, so the deputy mayor could actually see the children on arrival, dismissal, play yard at any point. But that was not allotted. So the meeting that we were offered was 10 minutes before her tour of her portfolio, which we did attend, and we had an opportunity to bring up some things, but it's a little bit out of context when you don't understand necessarily that a school of that size has one security agent. It doesn't have more than one. There is a custodian. There is not 3 custodians to be able to patrol the streets, et cetera, et cetera. There are already shortages with protecting kids and safety, with lack of crossing guards and other types of things in the neighborhood. So none of that was able to come to any kind of a discussion and request. It still is a real estate transaction at 320 Pearl. We did get a letter, which is in my chair report, that we will distribute. We've asked our elected officials who have bandwidth and connections to set up a meeting that we can have a discussion on it. There were discrepancies in the information we got from City Hall in terms of what they said and what the provider said. Even in the documentation we got, it's different between what they sent as updates. But at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, there is no substantial change to what that building will become and how it affects the children.
Tammy,
Yes.
can I add that they were supposed to come to Quality of Life 2 days after that tour that we went on?
Yes.
And they declined, claiming that meeting that we had and that tour should have sufficed, and that was it.
Oh, they didn't even claim that. There was no claim. At the CAB meeting for 105 Washington earlier this year in June, we got some numbers in terms of understanding how many homeless were in CB1 and things like that. We asked for that presentation to come to help us understand exactly the situation, the lay of the land for Community Board 1. DHS was on the calendar. They declined to come. The meeting that was had nothing to do with any of the overall numbers, and they've declined to come and talk to us about anything. So the only partnership we got at all was a lettered response, but it doesn't change a lot.
If I could just jump in for a minute, Tammy. I know that you're going to talk in more detail about some of the issues, but the letter that came from the administration on this issue talked a lot about the administration. There are a lot of questions about support, federal support and otherwise, and the city and that deputy mayor are taking more of a system-wide approach, and no individual facility is being favored over another, but the timeframes for many of the sites, including Pearl Street, have not really been established and will not be probably till much later in 2025. So I would say that nothing is imminent, and I leave it to you to fill in the details.
So later is in after Election Day.
Yeah.
Sorry, that would be the elephant in the room that I need. All right, Rob, John had your hand up. Sorry.
Listen, I got an easy request for you. We made a request to the, hi, how are you, Robin? Happy belated birthday.
I'm good. Good to see you.
So this is an easy request. We asked the Parks Department a few months ago. As you may know, the Washington Park is closed for a few months. And we asked that the seniors have an opportunity to have time at the tennis courts. We have a tennis person, we named the tennis court there, John Jones. He's gonna teach the seniors how to play tennis, but they haven't gave us a request. It's a simple request asking for time for seniors because they closed the park. There's no place for them to go. And this person has volunteered to do tennis lessons, but we need a time slot in the tennis court apparatus, and the park department controls that, and they haven't answered our request, and it's 2 months.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, and if you would not mind, send me or ask Zach or somebody to send me something in writing, and I will see if there's anything I can do. The tennis court is very close to Washington Market Park, so that would be a pretty good alternative if that can be worked out.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Tell them the community board.
Anybody else have questions for Robin, either in the room or online? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm online. I have my hand up.
Mark, how are you? I can't see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this thing out. I might hope my neighbor gets here and I can use his laptop right now. Anyway.
Mark,
how are you? All
I'm
right,
good.
long time. I have questions about animal care and control.
Okay.
A few things. As you probably remember, I do a lot of rescues with the TNR and cats and
Yes,
whatnot.
I know you do. Yep.
So it's glad they're getting $1 million, but you know how they spend the money is, I think, of issue. Are there going to be any audits of this agency to see how they're spending money?
The
from my
answer to that
experience dealing with them, it just seems like they're not appropriating where things should be.
Mark, I really don't know very much about this, but if you want to reach out to me offline, we have a Department of Animal Welfare within the mayor's office. And the director of that office is very, very close to much of the operation of the centers. And I would be happy to put you in touch with her, and she would share, what she knows, or I could be, a conduit to give you that information.
That would be great.
But Zach can give you my contact information.
All right.
You may
I
have
just want
it
to get this.
the old days.
That's good. No worries. But I just want to get this on the record. It's way long past the time that there should be a no-kill shelter. The that work there, they're euthanizing animals, particularly dogs, just to get space. And I just had a personal experience with that. I rescued a dog, brought him there in January. He was 58 pounds, and after 3 months, they were going to euthanize him. After they got him back up to 100 pounds, they gave him they gave his surgery, knew everything. They did everything. He looked great. I don't understand to recognize him, but the reason was that when they walk him, he pulls on the leash. Wasn't aggressive, nothing like that. And so I find out from the volunteers that this is happening all the time, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. I mean, it's got to be a no-kill shelter. But that's my message for you to give to the mayor, not to the commissioner.
Reach out to me, Mark, and let me put you in touch with Alex in our office. She's
okay. It may be
advocate.
All right. Sounds great. Maybe we can have this on an agendas and quality of life at some point, Tammy. That would be great. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Good to hear your voice.
Okay, good to see you, Robin.
Okay, anybody else? Sorry, Mark, and I apologize for missing you. It's hard when I don't see you staring at me. So it's a little bit easier. All righty. Anyone? Robin, thank you so much. We'll move on.
Thank you.
And welcome Max in the room.
Andrew.
I missed Andrew. Geez, sorry, Andrew.
He's been waiting.
Max, you're after Andrew.
All right, sure.
There we go. Go ahead.
Andrew here from the Manhattan Borough President's Office. One, I wanted to say that in the wake of the Canal Street tragedy earlier this month, Manhattan Borough President Marco Levine, along with several other elected officials, as well as this community board and Manhattan Community Boards 2 and 3, sent a letter to NYC DOT on the 23rd of July, asking for the advancement of the Canal Street redesign project, as well as the reduction of the speed limit on the Manhattan Bridge, installation of hardened barriers, and increase of leading pedestrian intervals. The Manhattan Borough President's Office was also present at the vigil and rally in memory of the victims on the 23rd of July, Wednesday. Secondly, regarding the recent, the city of New York has made investments in the current budget, and we applaud the investments for early childhood care and education, as well as the funding for public schools and funding to expand legal services, including right to counsel, legal services for tenants facing eviction, and support, and $74.7 million in support for legal support for immigrants. And for those who weren't aware, the Manhattan Borough President signed on to a amicus brief regarding the implementation for City of Yes for housing. And he did so alongside 28 other elected officials.
Say that one more time, sorry.
He's yeah, for City of Yes for housing. He signed on.
Supporting it.
Yes. There's a lawsuit against the implementation of City for Yes for housing. So yeah, we signed on to this. And then this brief. And then regarding our, this is for the community board, Manhattan Community Board chairs and Manhattan Community Board staff at the various community board offices. Regarding our, there's a mandated DCAS training, and we have sent out reminders to our chairs and district managers and staff. So if you haven't taken this mandated training, please do so as soon as possible. DCAS will host a virtual a training session on Zoom on the 1st of August from 10 to 12. So if you want to attend that virtual training, please let me know. Otherwise, you can do your training on your own time.
I'm in.
I did it on city time.
I signed it.
Yes.
You get paid. I am the unpaid one who has to still take it. Yeah, no, I'll be there Friday morning.
Awesome. And then the last two things I want to mention, just as an FYI, the community advisory committees for casinos has been formed. They recently had a meeting. I know this isn't necessarily pertain to this community board, but just as an FYI to let you all know. And then lastly, we're hosting our annual celebration for Dominican Heritage this tomorrow night, Thursday, the 31st of July, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at United Palace, 4140 Broadway. This is our annual celebration for everybody, for anybody who wants to partake in. And the actual parade for Dominican Heritage will be on Sunday, the 10th of August. And I will send the Eventbrite link to everybody for those who want to participate in our celebration tomorrow. Yes.
Did the agencies check in with the community before they sent that letter about Canal Street? That was a lot of friends and neighbors that went to that rally. They didn't actually go to the rally, but they went to the area and took pictures.
Yeah.
There were like virtually no Asian people there. It was basically a Transall rally with people who've been holding signs saying abolish parking, had nothing to do with Mayquoc at all. And people in Chinatown that I know at least, which I don't claim to know everybody, are saying that it's not Canal Street that injured these people, it's a drunk driver that was running away from police.
Right.
So doing redesign, speeding up redesign on Canal is not from the community.
Well, we did pass a resolution asking for, but the question.
The connection with the accident, with the incident, speeding up the redesign is not what the community is calling for, to my knowledge.
I can say that the rally was that, yeah, it was not our rally, it was definitely hosted by Transportation Alternatives, and I'm not sure who they engaged in terms of participation for that rally, so I can't speak beyond that.
Yeah. Well, I guess you can take it back then to your office, because it was very upsetting that it was not about the losses. It was about Transall and parking and redesigned canal, which is not what the community wanted. And the community was not even present There was maybe 2 Asian people in the audience.
Sure, okay, yeah.
And no other people of color either.
Noted. I will definitely bring that back to my policy colleagues.
Okay, who's next? Thank you, Mariama. This time I'm looking, I see nobody's hands up online. Thank Andrew and welcome Max.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, Max Deutsch from Councilmember Marquez's office, and so I'll also try and keep this quick. So quick legislative update. So you may have heard that last month, at the end of the month, Mayor Adams announced that he is dropping his effort to forfeit 250,000 retirees on Medicare Advantage. And this is due to the advocacy of the retirees who organized for 4 years, being told it was impossible, and they won. So it's a huge win. The Councilmember has been working with the retirees because, again, his bill, Introduction 1096, just because the mayor has dropped it now doesn't mean he can't try it later, or a future mayor can't try it again. So we're still working and now strategizing with retirees to how we can push this bill forward. Community updates, we'll be having joining Assemblymember Charles Fall's office for a mobile office at Kowski Park Playground tomorrow from 2 to 4. So we'll be there with Fall's office and his staff. As you may have seen in the news, there's kind of an ongoing issue of SNAP benefit theft of people's benefits being stolen off their cards. So our office, thanks to Peter from the DA's office, they brought a ton of their staff in yesterday. We had about 30 people in our office, victims of SNAP theft. And again, we want this to be an ongoing thing as the issue continues. So if you or someone you know is a victim of SNAP benefit theft, please, have them contact our office, call our office. We will get you help. Another thing, as John mentioned, Washington Square Market Park is closed, but yesterday the council member did a walkthrough with the Parks Department and the Friends of group. So we have a few updates. So the repaving is completed. The benches are being put in over the next week. They've put in a new drainage system, so it's now much healthier for the grass. They're finishing up the plumbing, the final touches, mowing the grass, but it is expected to reopen by mid-August. We don't have an exact date, but it should be open soon. And once we have the new park, we are going to be hosting a jazz night with a live jazz band in Washington Market Park on September 26th. So we will have more details to share for the community there. And with that, I will take any questions.
First we need a flyer for where you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is the first we've heard of it.
Yeah.
And I am sure the folks that were here about the North Cove Marina would like to come talk to the two of you. I'm sure that the people who have been talking to us about resiliency would like to come and talk to you. I'm sure that the people in the neighborhood would love to talk to you about almost everything, celebrating Wagner, looking forward to other things. So it would be awesome to really get a flyer that we can circulate.
I'll check with you there. If it's Fall's office, I'll get it from Fall's office.
Okay, yeah, that's new. Jill, and then we're gonna go this way.
Tomorrow?
Well, so it's happening, we're doing it every week, so we're just starting it, so there will be further future
Park?
throughout the,
So
day.
tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna be a lot meaner than the, our dear leader, because that is really wrong. No one in the community knew about it. I didn't know about it.
Gateway didn't send it.
Gateway didn't. The head of the board didn't know about it. There are a lot of issues. And, nothing was sent out. I get emails from your office. I get emails from Charles Fall's office. I'm really not happy about that.
Yeah, so again, so it was Fall's office, it's their event that we're joining, so I can take this back to Fall's office, but yeah, it's their event.
I would like to for you guys to schedule another session.
Yeah, no, yeah, but that's.
At Kowski with enough notice so that the community can engage with your office.
Sure. And I just might note that the top lot, which is elevated, is surrounded by construction on 3 out of 4 sides. So being down below the top lot in where the volleyball courts are and the larger group of public have access to walk by would be far more engaging. There's shade over there if you don't like being in the sun, but at least you'll be able to get not only the people who go into the top lot, but you'll get the community who's going by.
No one's gonna see you except people in the kids' park, if you're in the kids' park.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I don't know, again, I don't know the exact location of where their table is going to be exactly.
Well, Kowski Park is an exact location,
Yeah, that's why we're.
Okay, yeah, so yeah.
Because of all the.
and it is just a park.
Yeah.
For kids,
Yeah.
little kids.
Yeah, below. Okay, going to.
Time again on that tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow from 2 to 4, again, yeah, so I can get contact Paul's office to get the exact flyer and details.
It is outdoors?
Yes, I believe so.
So I've been getting constant warnings about flooding tomorrow between the hours of.
Yeah, you might not want to.
Yeah, we just got a DEP alert about flooding and you're in the flood zone.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll check with them to see if it's still happening then.
Okay.
I mean.
All right. Going around the room, going around the room. Christine, you still have the
Thank you.
floor.
Hi, Max. How are you? It's nice to see you. I have a question on legislation what's happening with, the battery?
Yeah,
And the vendors
so-
down there.
Yeah, so we have the bill. I think, but the summer is pretty kind of a dead legislative session. And I think the struggle we're having is that because it's such a local downtown issue, it's just getting the other council members to care. And so I think, we're again talking with Keith Powers' office, right, his bills of how we can work with other council members, right, gain the support, throughout the council as we get into the fall and the council gets back into the legislative session.
So you'll have others signed on or he's?
I don't remember off the top of my head how many or who signed on right now, but I can check in and get, people have signed on. It's not just the two of them. I don't know exactly where it is off the top of my head.
Okay, next, Eric.
Yeah, hi, Max. Just a comment. I just hope Councilmember Marte is doing everything he can to stop that, homeless shelter at 320 Pearl Street. We're really worried. Thank you.
Yeah, and I can show that, yes.
And I will tell you, he and Assemblymember Lee, no offense intended to Senator Kavanaugh's team, but they have been
On it.
on it and helping push and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. It's just beyond. That's all. Yeah, there was somebody else around the corner. You? Nope, Justine.
So, I have the email from Charles Fall's office, doesn't mention Chris, but apparently Charles Fall on July 17th and July 24th from 2 to 4 was at 75 Battery Place. And on July 31st and August 7th will be at 385 South End Avenue, Kowalski Plaza.
385 is not,
I know.
it's not Kowski Plaza.
And he called, Battery Place Rockefeller Park House.
Well, this is what happens when you're in Staten Island.
Well, yeah, there you go.
When you districted us.
Don't be saying that to me.
Okay. I'm not gonna disagree with anything that's been said. I'm not gonna correct anything that's been said, but it was really funny. Could you do me a favor? Could you please help our assembly member
Yeah.
find ways to be able to engage with the Manhattan side of his board?
Yes.
Yeah, or tell him to just,
And
yeah.
perhaps, check with our district manager who can help him understand the location of where the parks are to the proper addresses.
Yeah.
Or our district leader,
Or something.
or any board members.
I'll call him. I just didn't look at this carefully, sorry. I
Because
got
doesn't
it.
make sense.
Well, no, I didn't look at it. I was like, okay,
Okay,
but whatever, sorry, but it's here, it's in his, at the
All right.
very bottom.
okay, let's keep going. Anything else for Max? Hearing and seeing none, thank you, Max.
Thank you,
All right,
Max.
Peter from the district attorney's office. I'm sorry, Peter, thank you for being here. You are the last, I believe I have nobody else here. Because I think Marty from DEP is quickly telling people to find
Sending out
out.
emails.
Yeah, go.
Good evening, everybody. Peter Clay from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. I'll start off with a few prosecution updates. Okay, we recently secured a guilty plea from Phila Williams for following a woman to her solo apartment and raping her. We got a guilty conviction, rape in the first degree. Under the terms of this, we're expecting him to be sentenced to about 18 years in prison. We also had a defendant sentenced, Christian Valdez, throwing his girlfriend onto an oncoming train. He survived, but I think he had his amputations in the leg. He was found guilty.
Hey, hold on.
One count of attempted murder in the second degree, sentenced to 18 years. Some community updates. This Tuesday is National Night Out Against Crime. It's a nationwide event. It's being sponsored by all the police
We need to find these.
in the nation. In Manhattan, the district attorney's office will participate in all 25 events for the precincts in Manhattan. Locally, the first precinct.
Hey, hold on, please.
And
Hey, sorry, yeah, please. Thank you. Back to you.
precinct will have representatives there. We'll have an assistant district attorney at each table and a professional representative. If you have questions that I usually cannot answer, feel free to stop by any of these events. The first precinct one is in a great location at South Street Seaport. The fifth precinct site is a block long on Division Street. So stop by there. Finally, we do this a lot up in Harlem and Washington Heights. We sponsor festivals, healing festivals against gun violence. We're holding one this Saturday in the Lower East Side. It'll be at Dry Dock Park from 12 to 4. Working with the elected officials, Councilman Marte is gonna be there.
You say which park? Which
Dry
park?
Dock, Dry Dock Playground. Zach, there's a flyer for you guys to have.
Thank you.
There, feel free to come, okay? And finally, as Max did say, we worked with Councilman Marte's office to, our financial frauds bureau went down and interviewed some of the constituents that came down so that we can try and open an investigation, to try and open the matter there. It was a huge turnout. We may have to work on another. Know of any constituents or friends who are unfortunate victims of losing their SNAP benefits, contact their councilman's office and we'll see if we have enough for another session. Any questions?
Hearing and seeing none, online. Peter, thank you for your patience tonight.
Thank you.
And we're moving on. Treasurer's report, Mariana?
Aaron, go back talking. Take notes anymore.
Can we,
Well, I don't know if we very not a copy, but.
oh, it's not you, Zach. Can you?
Why would I have it?
We, respectfully and uneventfully closed the books in the year with the exception of one unfortunate situation. We had to return $5,000 to the city of New York because it wasn't paid by the deadline.
Oh, bummer.
What happens?
Don't spend money.
Recording, wow, oh well. Better snap.
No, we cannot. It's a one-way thing. And if it's not in the right location, under the right category, there's the report, then, there's a deadline, and if you miss the deadline, you can't move it to another category. It's not like you have an open book, like your bank account, you just spend all the money down. It's proportioned to categories. And, that's the best
But
I'm
if
gonna
we
say
didn't
about
spend
it.
it this year, will they think we don't need it and not give it to us next?
No, we're gonna spend it, don't worry.
What was the category?
Let's just keep moving on. If you have additional questions, you can chat with the treasurer and with the district manager. All right?
I mean,
Because we do, yeah, I'll just keep my mouth shut from there.
Yeah.
All right. Which brings us to the district manager's report. Zach, you're on the hot seat.
Okay. So Parks Department launched a new tool called the Vital Parks Explorer. If you Google Vital Parks Explorer, you can find it, and it shows everything by district and how close each street is to a park. If it's within 10 minutes walk of various features like a park, a dog run, playground, etc. It's a pretty cool tool, so if you wanted to check that out, feel free. The board signed on to a bunch of letters this month, a couple to DOT, one to OCM for 155 Williams Street cannabis shop, and to with Congressman Goldman for the Moynihan Courthouse fence. And I also want to extend a thank you to David, who worked many months with us, countless meetings, a ton of research, FOIL requests, and many community partner meetings and conversation. We did a ton of work, so thank you, David, and it's been great working with you.
Likewise, thank you.
That's it for me.
That's it? Okay, chair's report, let's roll. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, first, July 4th. Love seeing folks in the community out and about. Thank you for sharing this photo from the folks who are around Pier 15. Really fun. Next.
It was fun.
All right, so we've had some agency responses. Take a look after this meeting. We will send you, if you have not already received, we have a letter that was sent from the deputy mayor regarding 320 Pearl. Councilmember Marty and Assemblymember Lee are still following up for a meeting as per what we've already discussed. You can take a look through the notes and see what you think. We have a memo from OCM, really interesting. So Chair Wright, who is no longer there, was probably the most communicative and really awesome chair that we have had with OCM in terms of working with us. When she was separated from OCM, it was a loss for the community. But the only interesting thing that has happened was there's a memo that came out from OCM apologizing with a note saying that they now know that they broke the law. And they did not follow the proper proximity rules for distancing from schools, and that they were not applied as the education law nor the SLA rules say. So for all of you who have been on the board from the last, since OCM was building a plane while flying it and serving cocktails, and you were really not happy about this, and we all argued at this table, I want to thank every single person who said something, didn't say something, who pulled their hair out, who helped in every and any way. I want to thank Jared and Brendan and Susan and Pat and Mariama for really reviewing these with us and going through everything, and for having the legal minds who looked and said, you know, this really doesn't sound right, for every letter that we sent and everything else. It was unprecedented to hear a state agency say, whoops, we didn't follow the law and we were wrong, which is good because potentially we can get fixed some of the issues like we have at 111 Fulton, 155 William, who moved one block closer to Spruce Street School. And then they're also not up to date on other schools that are opening, as Mariama let us know, the school that had closed, it reopened as another school, so that whole thing that's illegal. But whatever, we're working on it. And again, it becomes day by day. We have plenty of open spaces. We'd love people to be successful. The place on Chambers Street is working just fine, fits into the neighborhood. So we know it's possible. We welcome business, find the right location, and let's move on.
Did they clarify it though, Tammy? They said we made a mistake?
Oh, yeah, you'll see the memo. It's pretty spectacular.
It's really fabulous.
Yeah.
Excellent.
City charter proposed revisions. So we did a resolution, we studied it, we hired George. The proposed charter changes from the commission that are going to go on the ballot in the fall came out. We will circulate the memo that George did that analyzed what the rules are, what the community board has said, and what you choose to do with that, you are on your own. DOT adopted rules for concession seating. Again, stuff that we talked about. There's a link here. Betty, thank you very much for updating us. We'll send that around and you can take a look. I didn't see that anything was changed from their proposed rules, but I have to do a deeper dive unless Jess knows or Betty. All right. Yeah, they talked about it, but I didn't see it in the end. It seems to match, but I'll leave it for everybody else. Again, you don't need for us to interpret it. You can read yourselves and then send us your thoughts. Richard?
Did you say there was a resolution on the charter revision? What did I miss here?
Yeah. We did that last month.
Okay. And when will we see this memo?
After the meeting, as soon as we get caught up from the office. Again, we're short-staffed this week. Okay, still waiting. Agency responses for DCP and DOB regarding 77 Water. We sent them a reminder, we bumped it, and they said, yes, we know you're waiting. Okay, DOT Canal Street updates. It is a hot topic again. So we are waiting to hear. My understanding is that DOT is going to be doing changes. It is in their plan. And so we wait and we hear. We are still working on the land use group Zach is waiting for a response from 3 people. I bumped his to the 3 people who said they wanted to be on it. They need to give dates to Zach.
Is that the affordable housing group?
It's affordable housing with land use and zoning. It's not the affordable housing group, it's the combination of the focus on zoning. Okay? Holiday get together, Gabby's leading that, and it doesn't have to be holidays in December. She needs one more person to help, so talk to Gabby. And over the summer, if you're really willing to work on creating surveys and our newsletter, especially since we're losing a secretary, please do let us know. Next slide. I got it. That's even better to go faster. I like that. Okay, this is where we've been. For the month, it was a hard hat tour. You see Raju Mann sitting there on the bottom giving us a hard hat tour of Wagner. Wendy, thank you so much for the really cool photo of One Center. And yeah, here we go. Photos of World Trade that are nice in the summer. I did want to mention, I went to the FIDI Seaport workshop. I cannot explain enough. If you want to know what's going on in the battery, you need to look through the designs of how they want to change. That's just that. So these, the opening was yesterday, so I wanted to say thank you for people for moving the board meeting. This is the new park. These are the photos the Battery Park City Authority sent us, so thank you very much. They went out, they have a cool drone. This is a bunch of us there yesterday. I missed Alice, she was there somewhere, but I couldn't find her. Thank you. There's Jill and I.
Are dogs still out there?
Hmm?
Are dogs still out there?
Well, there's a really funny thing. Dogs are not supposed to be allowed on the, no. And I got 14 photos today, and 2 people stopped me in the street today, and people wonder why I don't like going out sometimes, going, do you know that it's an open dog run? I'm like, what? Ooh, where? So no, there are not supposed to be dogs on the lawn. You may walk your dog around the paved areas, I believe.
Yes.
On a leash. Let me remind you, not off a leash, not off leash on lawn, not on leash on lawn. But yeah. So anyway, so here we are, Justine and Wendy, and it was a really fun, roasty toasty hot night last night.
I was there.
I missed you.
Didn't see you. I saw the dogs on the lawn.
Yeah.
I will add that there are no signs.
No signs here.
There's none.
Which
And
is the other,
so previously, people used to run their dogs in Wagner.
Yeah.
And they weren't stopped. And they used to, right behind the museum, there was an area there that's not quite finished. There were benches, which we no longer have.
Benches are coming back.
Yay. But that's where people would also unleash their dogs. As someone who has a dog and walks the dog on a leash, I don't like other dogs off leash because they can attack your dog. So, but there aren't any signs.
You know,
Which was noted in one of the 13 images that got sent to me today, that there was a sign that shows a 1-ton truck and bicycle limit, but
Yes.
not a no dog on the lawn limit.
Okay.
So
they haven't put it up yet.
again, there are lots of things, I mean, I've got another photo of the water fountain that sprays the wrong way. So there are punch list items I'm sure they're still working on. We're gonna give them a little bit of grace and benefit of the doubt that they will get there. And they will hear from us, so no problem.
Can we delete it?
Oh, you can go, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's open.
You should carry
The
an
park
email
is on.
who they should notify.
Oh, Nick Sporto.
Yeah. Carry that on you.
Yeah, I do.
Wash your face.
All right, so again, tomorrow is the BBJ Community Workshop. It's open to anybody in the public. It'll be held over here at, on Chambers Street. I recommend to anybody sign up and go. You do need to RSVP, please. Specifically also for those who need translation. August, we will have one meeting for all topics. That's August 21st. The executive committee is required for quorum. If you are a chair and you will not be able to be at that meeting, find your co-chair or somebody from your committee who will be your proxy. But we have to have quorum because every single thing that we do will be by resolution. If it's a topic for discussion, it's not happening. So it is only for resolutions. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
You are welcome. Any board member is welcome to visually tune in, to come and visit, to be in the room. Everybody and anybody is welcome, but for your executive committee, I need quorum in the room. And we're one less because maybe won't be. Okay, so, and we,
Coming from.
we have DOT has already sent sidewalk cafes and applications. OCM, we will see what they send, but so far DOT is very busy. Yeah. DEP has a tour scheduled. Huh?
Even this late in the year?
Hi, welcome to applying for next year, yeah. Okay, CB1 and CB2, we'll have a tour of Canal Street with DEP, let's hope the weather holds for that. And the office staff is going to be taking vacations in the summer. And they are off anywhere between 1 day and 3 weeks. So really, please try and be patient. If you don't hear, feel free to bump it back up. If you email somebody and they're on vacation, include the rest of the office. Include other people. Just don't assume you're being ignored. It's probably because nobody's there. All right? Take a look at the agendas. Your fall stuff has been moved. August, if you are not hanging with us, is for neighborhood and vacation. So enjoy photos.
What's the purpose of the Canal Street tour?
It's a DEP tour.
I had asked for a tour of the pump station, which is, we can see it right there on the north end, and it sort of fascinated me, and I thought other people might be interested, and so Marty Fatou, the head of DEP, the Borough Commissioner, is gonna give that tour, and I think he would take, I know you're going, and Zach's going, and anybody who's interested, maybe, it's at the pump station that's located on the north side of Canal. What, you're laughing?
So it's good.
No, anyway, you might want to send that around and find out from Marty if we can have additional people.
It was limited.
It was limited, but I think more than four.
I'll bump back if other people from the board want to go. I'm really happy to do that.
It's a sewage pumping station. just
Yeah,
to be
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So again, take some photos. Take some photos. Enjoy the summer. This is Wagner Park, not Wagner. This is Lower Manhattan, Lower Broadway. This is the Pump House Oval Lawn, while we still have trees on the west side. And this is the office at Sunset, which I really hope to not see often this summer.
It was great.
All right, let's roll. Come on.
Just keep clicking it. It's gonna keep going.
Yay! Okay, First Precinct National Night Out is Tuesday, August 5th. That's next week. It's over at the Seaport. I love to say, just go, show up. It's 6 to 8 o'clock at night. Enjoy with, it's a nice way to thank our police department. It's a fun night with face painters, with kids and stuff, and a DJ. Yeah, I mean, you meet the men and women of NYPD who patrol our streets. And I always think that we were very fortunate to have great community, neighborhood policing, and we want to support that. And more eyes on the street, the better. Please go enjoy.
Where is it, Tammy? The
Pier
Seaport.
Pier 16,
Pier 16, and
Yeah.
what time?
6 to 8 on Tuesday, the 5th.
Really nice.
Okay, New York City Summer Street Links. Again, please remember, coming up in Manhattan, August 2nd, 9th, and 16th. Lafayette and Park Avenue between the Brooklyn Bridge and East 110th are closed. So if you're trying to get to the community board for any reason, the 2nd, the 9th, or the 16th, and you're wondering why the heck you can't get there and you're frustrated, go enjoy the summer streets. Next. All righty, let's roll. Resolutions. So we have one liquor license. That was a positive resolution. One full declining for a roadway cafe because they refused to show up. I am not going to go over the report for the FEIS for Northwest Battery Park City. It's been discussed often enough. We had a fantastic report by Chi for 311 data. I don't think we put any slides in here, but she's working on it and hopefully we'll have an update report in the fall. Discussion on selecting a new secretary, which we know. If you would like to volunteer or you want to kind of road test and try it and work with Brendan in September, let us know. All right.
Or else you're gonna get yelled at me and then yelled at me.
Yeah. So if I had my druthers, even though it's a positive and a negative, I'd like to take the first two together.
Can I call the question?
Second. Fantastic. We're gonna go a vote by affirmation, which means a positive one for the liquor license, a negative one for LPQ. Are there any in opposition to either one? Seeing and hearing none, are there any abstentions? Seeing or hearing none, are there any recusals? Fantastic. Motion passes and welcome everybody. Let's roll. Next committee. There we go.
Oh, great. Okay, I got a few slides. Really quickly, we had 3 updates, nothing terribly new here.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first was, the FIDI Seaport update. Nothing you don't know. I guess in this particular slide, I just put it up just to remind you of this tie-in. That's what the big focus is right now, is how these different arteries are all tying in, and mostly through Battery. Next slide. And so that was a new slide. We've never seen that one before. And the goal here is to, show all the green space that we're getting, the 8 acres that's being added on. And it sort of humors me because the Battery, dwarfs the additional green space. But that is just a reminder of what's to come. And there really wasn't anything added to that. It was a very brief presentation. So, more to come obviously on this project. Next slide. And so, and then, by the way, they're at 30% design, so nothing's going ahead in terms of infrastructure. It's only a 10% for design, so we have plenty of, they want to assure us that we have plenty of opportunity to opine. So the Battery tie-in, which is the area where the FIDI Seaport comes in and around the Battery, that's a very critical area. We're just learning about it. And so they did these tabling events, this being EDC, and they had 117 people show up at 3 different days. I mean, it doesn't seem like enough people to me, and probably most of them, it sounds like, were tourists. But anyway, and they attempted this, and then they also did a presentation last week. Next slide. And so these were the, the current activities, the common themes, and can you just scroll up, Tammy? So, I can see it here. The most popular current activities, pretty obvious in doing Harvard reviews, and the least popular current activities, I got a kick out of that, dining and yoga, I'm not sure. And then the common themes from written and verbal feedback. There's not a lot here, so, I think it behooves us to give the agencies more when we can. And so at the next public meeting, and hopefully that'll be in our community board in September, we have that opportunity. Next slide. Okay, so this is one of these opportunities. We'll have a temporary installation. You can see here during Climate Week in September 15th, 28th, FIDI Seaport Climate Resilience Plan will obviously remind everyone of that, but something that's coming forward. Next step. Slide. Closing the southern tie-in. So this is a very critical point, again, that we should all be paying attention to, and we are. And we assumed at our committee we were going to be seeing very detailed presentation of this, but alas, we didn't. And the next day, for all of us who did go to the public meeting, that's where you saw very detailed plans and perspectives of what Battery will look like, not the night of our committee meeting. So we've asked them to come back in September to give that presentation so that all of us and the community generally can see this. They did give a public hearing. It was excellent, but we need more. And it was really quite impactful and a lot to see there. So we'll keep it posted, but a lot more to come on that.
And you should go yourselves.
Absolutely, but we will of course do our best to summarize. And really not much here otherwise. The Battery Coastal Resilience plans basically are on target. There's a 6-month delay because the National Park Service has some delay in contracting, but basically they're on target. And the first phase will be done in February. So actually a great deal of that park will be reopened. And the second phase is 14 months later, and it's mostly of the section near where the restaurant is currently. So most of the other part of the park, except for the area in the center, that the old for storage will be open again. That's what we've been told in February. And then just, again, this is a shot you've seen a million times. So what you're looking at, the lavender and pink areas, if you will, those will all be reopened. The striped area in the center, which is the storage area, that will remain closed. The blue areas are where DOT is doing work. That work will continue. And the brown in the corner is really the second phase. So most of that stuff on the left will be completed during phase 1 in February. Not so far away. And that is about it, just a shot to remind us all. And we asked about Pier A, still nobody can give us an answer as to what's happening there, when it will be reopened, what it will be reopened as. not for lack of asking, we can keep up on that. So, I have one, I think that's it for the slides.
One
no. Oh, well, yes, this is the next, this is the resolution that you have in front of you somewhere. And this was, it came to me because I was very interested in knowing on behalf of our committee, flood barriers that were coming to Canal Street. And we knew nothing about it, but it ended up that it was actually an application for revocable consent. So Betty, thank you very much, joined our committee to, do two things at once, both get acquainted with what is an aqua fence, which is a temporary deployable that will be basically protecting the Holland Tunnel and along Canal Street, coming around. Hopefully you can see on the slide, the red is where these deployable gates will go. I think we've teed up a small video to show you what an aqua fence does. You may have seen them around town. There's a couple in the financial district. So we've combined a little bit of a, DOT, basically Transportation Committee, Environmental Protection Committee looked at this and we're looking at basically the resolution to accept the revocable consent application by the Port Authority for anchors in the roadway. But there were many concerns that came up that, here we go. You can see, go ahead for the aqua fence.
Do you want the one in action?
Whatever you've got.
Yeah,
Give us what
it's
you got.
cool, more bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just,
more bigger.
yeah, just,
There you go.
there you go. There it is. Oh, what? Okay, there. Oh,
This one's not the one that we showed.
yeah, there was another one that's really wet.
Filling up.
So what,
I don't know.
what does it do, Alice? What does it do? I don't know.
Basically, it comes up and down, and they are installed by hand. They are stored off-site. It takes 2 to 3 days to get them on the site.
Oh, this is it.
Oh, there we go. This is nice. But what did they do?
I've
Yeah,
seen,
we all get one.
I've seen them testing one screen.
Pay attention, yeah.
Oh, they put the little bolts in the ground.
Yeah, that's what this is what the application.
On
So
Water
you'll
and John
see
and
the-
Water and Maiden Lane, they've tested them out.
Mhm.
Believe
So-
tested deploying them.
So they're in front of the tunnel.
That would be in front of, and all along Canal Street.
No,
And
in
yes.
front of it.
So it diverts the
So
plot.
what are they doing?
Well, so
Hold
let,
on,
wait, let,
Watch,
listen to this.
watch, okay,
Yeah,
you
watch
watch
this
the
and then we'll-
video and then we'll go back to Alice.
Very high.
You can talk.
They're the same walls that were used to protect in Tampa, the hospital.
Yes, exactly. There's one, that's right.
And they worked very well.
They
and
did.
Various heights.
This drill attachment.
And there are the map that Alice had up to start with,
Which is in your.
which is in your packet.
Yeah.
So take a look at the board's resolution materials, because you can see that fence is going up not only in front of the tunnel, which is part of it, but it is also going up along Canal Street, down part of Vestry and part of Hudson.
And just so you understand, we are not evaluating the aqua fence or the need for this. This is not our job. We are only asked whether or not we approve the Port Authority is allowed to put in the anchors into the roadway to receive the aqua fence.
Right.
And that's all that the community board really has an opportunity to opine on,
And,
but
yeah, and not even every place, because they've already done like 90% of it, they said. They just need us to opine on and approve a certain percentage, right, Betty? I forget what it was.
It doesn't have anything to do actually with the tunnel. Why? Because the Port Authority has control over that land, and they don't need.
They don't need our help, yeah.
The DOT. They're going to a few places on roads around their control, their jurisdiction, that are NYC DOT controlled properties, and putting anything bolts into the ground there, they need irrevocable consent from the city.
Right. So we're focused only on that, but.
Right.
But the aqua fence is gonna cover the whole area, and if you read the resolution in here.
That's the problem. It's only gonna cover their building that they're protecting.
No, the aqua fence is gonna cover, it's not gonna cover.
It's their building.
Just the tunnel.
It's covering the tunnel and the one street. The stuff you see with the, can I just wait a second. This is again, not about the resiliency aspect. It should be maybe, but it's not. It's about the revocable consent. It was an interesting project that we should see, and that's why I asked for it to be presented. But the red is where it is. You can see the red lines, or you see the green points. Those are the places where the fence will go.
Yeah.
And will be a temporary that will be brought in. They're stored off-site, and it will be for a severe storm. And with enough time to get fence.
Right.
So, go ahead.
That was my question. So, for instance, there's, news of storm approaching now.
Hold on,
Already
hold
asked
on,
that.
hold on. We went over all this at the committee meeting,
Yeah.
right? Read the resolution, and
I
then
did.
Alice has updates that will answer your question if you let her get through the presentation.
Got it.
And then we're gonna do questions. Wow, that's not usually my style, but here we go.
Well, in answer to Ellie's question, in fact, that isn't in our pamphlet, in our resolution, because it's not really our issue, but to answer you, their response was that would be, a lot of people have this concern, for Christine, that, and they would have enough time because it's the kind of storm which we would know well in advance. It's a 2 to 3 day timeframe. I think they mentioned Staten Island as being the place where these were stored. For some reason, I'm remembering that. I don't know why. But that's the answer they provided. I can't do better than that.
New Jersey, I
Yeah.
don't have room in Staten Island.
They also,
Anyway,
But they said it took 3 to 5 days to pop up, to install, 3 to 5 days to install and 3 to 5 days to take down.
Hey, can we
I
let
know,
Alice
but for
finish
the
the
same
time?
time, can we deal with the issue?
yeah, so just the only thing I wanted to add to the resolution is that Christopher Lee, who is the Port Authority's Communications Director, is very earnest and hardworking guy and was very helpful. And he has really been trying to answer all of our questions, which are all identified. And whereas during the Port Authority's presentation,
Yeah.
we had the following concerns, and I've listed them all in here, and with Betty's help, thank you very much. And just to say that I promised him that I would summarize what he wrote me, because he did respond to a lot of the concerns. And let me just quickly bring it up if I can find it. Of course, I can't, but
Got it.
you have it up? I can't believe
Yeah, I
I'm
can.
finding it in my emails here, but I'm not. Okay, so Tammy, you'll bring it up. Thanks. So basically, each question was answered about all of the different historic infrastructure impacts and all the ones that you're reading here. And if Tammy gets it better than I do. Okay, so basically, the Port Authority is sensitive to the conditions of the city streets. The cobblestones on Vestry Street was considered and examined in coordination with New York City DOT. The agency will closely monitor our contractor when the anchors are installed in this area, and each will be visually inspected every year by maintenance contractors to ensure they are in good shape at the Port Authority's expense. I'm gonna keep moving a little bit quicker, and I'm gonna ask that we add this into the resolution as an addendum, as a response that they've provided as asked for by the community board, if no one objects. Permanent anchor sleeves are installed through the cobblestones, mostly through the joints, and anchored to the concrete layer below. They're just describing the system that they're using. The Port Authority will work closely with New York City's DOT to ensure any damage associated with the aquafence is restored in a timely and appropriate manner. And I'm reading all this, but also because you have to agree that we're going forward, obviously, as a board, so just keep that in mind. Under the heading of comprehensive planning, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is dedicated to being a good neighbor and partner with other government agencies to ensure public safety. They go on to describe the assurance that they will, do right by all agencies. Pedestrian access with the deployment, we believe the deployment of the system will take no more than 2 days in advance and of a major storm. In the event of an emergency where the aquafence panels are deployed, DOT approval will be obtained before the Port Authority installs the aquafence panels on New York City sidewalks, and pedestrian access will be maintained on the south side of Canal Street. Okay, keep going. Community outreach, there will be green infrastructure integration. The Port Authority has met with the architect Peter Bowman. You might remember the urban sponge concept at St. John's Park, also going to be called the Rotary Park. That's something the Port Authority has met with and promises to put as something as a priority in terms of resiliency planning. And the most important thing that that's not it, construction mitigation, but earlier on, sorry, keep going up, we missed one. The biggest concern was that people were concerned, and rightly so, what happens around this area? How is the rest of the area going to be protected? And they have assured that they have worked, this is the only part we've asked for more information, that they're working with Mayor's Office of Climate and Environmental Justice and Port Authority is working also with, of course, Army Corps on looking at this holistically and say that the flooding is would be very, very minimal. We've asked to see these analyses and they have promised that they're looking for them to give them, that they generally can't give this information out, but they're going to try to give that to us because they think it would be very helpful for us to see that. So that's pretty much it. I know Betty had a couple of here's the one. We believe deployment of the system will take, oh no, I've already read that, Tammy. I just read that.
2 days.
Yeah.
To answer the storm.
Yeah, that's what I said and I've read it. So, okay, so first of all, are there any questions? Yes, Jeff.
The second be it resolved says we're okay with this, but only as part of a comprehensive Tribeca flood protection system. But we know there is no such thing. The closest thing to it is the HATS study. So this is basically us saying, until you do the North Tribeca protection, don't protect the tunnel.
Betty and I discussed it. Betty's got it, therefore, go ahead.
But here, yeah. No, that's my only point. So if you have a new wording, I'd love to hear it.
And I've accepted her rewording for me, so on behalf of the committee.
Actually, it turns out, as I went back to the tape, no wording was discussed or agreed upon by the committee or they voted.
Right.
So point of information, I even parliamentarian, I don't know if I need to make a motion or not really to do this.
Just an edit.
Yes, it's an edit, and I'm chair, and I've accepted your edit, which I have in front of me, but Betty, go ahead and read it.
This one is really just, for the community board, committee of one supports the Port Authority's revocable consent application. Install anchor bolts and covers, will secure flip panels, provide flood mitigation protection for requested. As long as the Port Authority addresses CB1's concerns, providing information about one, their deployment plan, 2, their sidewalk access, and 3, analysis shows inverted water will not flood neighbor buildings.
That's
more than yeah.
That's the most critical one, and we'll put
The
that.
second one, be it further resolved that CB1 is changing, request a clear point of contact at the Port Authority for ongoing input and accountability. It's really done. The one that we spoke about is dropped completely.
Fine.
And then one was added because it was missing, even though it was discussed. And that is that the New York City Department of Transportation is empowered to assess the roadbed conditions on any cobblestone streets. The aqua fence will be installed. So the DOT can work with the Port Authority to have any damage or accelerated damage associated with the aqua fence repaired efficiently and appropriately.
It actually isn't under infrastructure maintenance, that particular.
It is there,
Yeah,
but
it's there.
we wanted as a therefore be it resolved.
You wanted, okay. And the only thing there, I accepted all on behalf of the committee, as soon as the committee now accepts it, except for the word implored, I'm going to change to ask.
So you can change.
Thank you.
All that answers my concern.
Yeah, so to addressing your concern,
That's fine.
I just have a technical question. Is this going to, it'll be built around the cobblestones? Is this something people can trip over? Is it raised? Is it underground? It's
flush.
It's flush?
It goes
And
under.
It goes under. Will cars, can people in high heels get stuck in it?
No, those are really good questions.
Not that I
but
need to know that.
I should, we don't have the
No,
section
no,
up there.
no,
No, it's flush and it goes underground.
And it goes under, so it won't stick out and can't be a hazard.
Right.
Second.
Yeah. So this isn't a vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed?
I had a question online.
I'm sorry.
Mark?
I have my hand up.
The question was, I
Yeah.
hear you, Mark, and I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm sorry, but.
It's all right.
Mark?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Okay. Is the city aware of this system, New York City?
Yes.
So,
You have to, Mark.
So can we inform them that, that all the people that think that everyone's going to drown at Brooklyn Bridge Beach, that this system could be used there if anything happens?
To use another place.
Oh,
Like
Mark.
water, it's on the land.
You're aware of it, but.
Okay. Gotcha, Mark.
Yeah, I know they're aware
But
of
it's
it,
not
but,
going-
but they're so stupid. They think
Okay.
everyone's going to drown when they stick in the water.
Mark. I can't.
You can, but I can.
Okay, go for it.
So
Mark? All right, perfect.
it was.
All right, the question was called, the question was answered. We're in the middle of a vote. We already did affirmation. There was nobody in abstention. Are there any, there was no in opposition. Are there any abstentions or recusals? Hearing and seeing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
That was a good job.
Okay, complicated. Awesome, thank you. You're up, Paul or Andrew.
Okay. Ready? Okay.
Yeah.
We just have two quick reports. First, it concerns Battery Dance Annual Festival. It's taking place a week from Saturday, which is August 9th at 7 p.m. It's at Robert F. Wagner Park, which just by coincidence opened yesterday following a $300 million restoration and flood mitigation redesign of the park. So go check it out. And the festival attracts 12,000 in-person people, 35,000 virtual viewers, and people are invited to join the dance each evening. Afterwards, I should point out that August 12th through the 16th, this event takes place at Rockefeller Park. So it's coming up. All events are free and 7 p.m. Okay, that's it for Battery Dance Festival. It's supported by both the
And what's the
state.
timing of the dance?
Okay, go
Okay,
for it.
let's move on to Pearlman Performing Arts Center, which is coming up on its second anniversary. It opened in September 23, so it's coming close. They've hosted 69 theater level shows. Over 59,000 people have had meals there. They've had famous shows, including Cats. I'll just talk about the events that we have on this slide. They are GEMS and Motion Matters are both dance festivals and competitions. So those are coming up in March of next year. And a play called Trash is also going to be hosted in March of next year. And finally, A Christmas Carol is this year. What are the dates? It's at the end of November to December. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact dates, but I'm sure you could go on site and find them. And that's about sums it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate this. Speed, Pat, you're up.
Okay, let's make this fast. So let's do the resolution for 412 Greenwich Street, which is a sidewalk cafe. It's been approved. So let's vote on it.
I think she seconded, I think I heard the call, the second. Vote by affirmation. Are there any in opposition to 412 Greenwich? Where'd Brendan go?
You got 8:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's taking minutes?
The other, let's see, Water Street, we put off until September. First recent report, you can look at the YouTube video to hear.
Oh, wait a minute, sorry. Did I ask for abstentions and recusals on that vote?
I think so.
Amoruso abstained, 412 Greenwich.
Knew it. I knew, there's always one. That's what I said. All right, so it was unanimous except for one. Thank you. Keep going. Sorry, Pat.
And first precinct report, you can look at it online, the ramp project, you can look at it online. The main thing I wanted to talk about is this new initiative the city has, which is the Q team, which is Quality of Life team. They're going to take officers from, several groups, and I'll tell you in a second, I know that. They're taking officers from the neighborhood coordination officers, youth coordination officers, traffic safety officers, and they're putting them in this youth team, is the quality of life team. They're gonna keep track of 311 calls. They'll be dealing with things that we normally call in about, but they're going to keep track of that and try to get to those hotspots and, fix whatever the problem has been. Things like noise complaints, drug use and sale, loitering, trespassing, traffic violations. There are a whole bunch of stuff that we normally complain about, which are quality of life issues. There's also someone named Vanessa Jones Hall came from the Community Link. They also are affiliated with the police department, and if there's a hot spot, if there's an issue that has not been resolved, you can contact the representative. And I can give, or Zach can give you this number if you need it, and you can call, and she will try to help to get that problem resolved. That's it.
Does anybody have any questions for Pat? Hearing and seeing none, let's move to the next committee. I love that.
Hey, hi, guys.
Jason.
How is everybody? We have had some repetitive presentations here. I'll start with the last one first, because we've all seen this like 1,000 times already, which is this ridiculous, towers, which I think they came to tell us about 3, but no one presented anything about them. They didn't give us a rendering. They didn't give us anything to chew on. Everything's sloppy. If anybody likes these, vote against the resolution. Does anyone have any questions about these towers?
What's up with the picture?
Yeah,
I like it.
I made it.
Sorry.
Can I call the question?
Second? Oh, wait, let him
You can
get,
take
let him
them all
get.
together.
Oh, I think they're different. All right.
Okay, even next thing.
Yeah, not approved.
Okay, the other topic that was, important was this, fence at,
Going ahead.
Fourth Street, Pearl Street, if anyone's walked by the Puffy trial or whatever, like there's this, there used to be a way to get through. They're gonna put a fence there. They don't care what we think. It's already done. We're the last people to find out about it. It's your federal, government working hard for you. And there was a lot of people there to say how much they hated it for various reasons. I think I put a couple of them in there. And, I don't think anybody in here really wants this fence, but if you like fences, vote against this, project.
Vote against this resolution.
Right, so, the project is going to happen, so you can do whatever you want about
Well,
it.
some of it.
Well,
We
Right,
have
there's
some.
going to be a fence, there is going to be a fence.
Congress members opposing it.
Oh, good, okay, terrific.
Congress member,
Signed on to it.
city council.
Yes, it seems like nobody really likes it. Okay, so the last one was,
Except Trump.
this is obviously the Woolworth building. People that have been living down here know that it was redeveloped many years ago for mixed use, there were apartments, and also offices are there. This project, by the same restoration firm, is handling what they call the lantern, which I guess is this last setback part. The project is mostly to replace windows. So it's mostly to replace, windows. It's also to make larger masonry openings. And then,
Picture?
the point of the picture is to say that all this work, if you look at it from here, or, you can see the Woolworth building from here, you really would not see much of this.
Okay.
However,
However,
we believe that these buildings are not necessarily only viewed from the street. So, people see them from other buildings. We put that in our resolution. I think generally we thought we could come to an agreement to approve something, but we listed a couple of the modifications, like no touching of the masonry openings if there's original masonry. making the windows the same, 1/1 configuration that they were originally. And that's about it. So, if you really are a purist, you may want to vote against this resolution. And if you think that buildings like this are able to be developed in multiple phases and not just one shot, and, then you may just want to vote for this. This is a private apartment that is being, making this application to modify the unit. And the unit is as much as, I think, these top floors. And then they're gonna do some other work to these lantern pieces. Questions?
I don't have a question. I think I just want everybody to know that the changes are substantial
Yes,
and they do make a difference. And we worked very hard as a committee to look at it and think about it.
Sure.
I just want everybody to understand that. And that's how we came to what we came to in not accepting it.
well, we kind of accept it, and I
So
don't want,
explain it.
yeah, this is another point of like, if you really want to get into the nitty gritty of this, come to the committee meeting. I don't want to go into the nail head kind of details of this, but in fact, the windows that they're replacing are not original. They're like reclad office windows over some composition of old windows. So, when you look at a building like that and you say, well, we're looking at already covered up historic fabric with contemporary fabric that's going to be completely replaced and then done so with the original, configuration of the window. Can you really be against something like that?
Yes, because
You
they're
can't
taking-
vote against it. That's what I would say.
No, it's because they're taking it one step further and making it very thin, very modern. And our comment was, this is one of the most iconic buildings in the world.
Yes.
And you don't come and buy and start changing it without having any consideration for the overall look of the building. And
I agree with that.
historical,
Yes,
That's what this is.
I think so. I think it might be a little bit more on the approval side than Vicky'd like to see it, but, read it and you gotta vote. That's the way it is.
That's why I'm asking, is
Yeah.
because it is a very overall positive. There doesn't seem to be, unless I'm not understanding this correctly, there's one, removal of the large terracotta is unacceptable.
Right, and any window replacement should be done matching original window
Well, that's not-
configuration.
that's not in the
That's
that's being resolved, is it?
It's not whereas, it doesn't have to be in the.
I think it does. There was.
I think that's kind of,
Yeah, I think so too.
You want to be strong.
Added to
And how they-
so it says community
Put it
will
in-
one recommends
put it
the
to where-
scope of work for the lantern portion be approved, including environmental.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Jason and Vicky, wasn't there some aspect of like
Right, but we also
terrace?
don't have anything that looks like a
That
5G
we did
tower.
not want to.
Hold on. We can come back to that. Hold on, stop, the two of you. Susan was talking. Susan, go. Susan.
There was some aspect that they were gonna break through and there was going to be like a terrace.
That's where I capture, okay, so I'm trying to capture that.
Yeah, I
With
got it.
what comment? Right? Removal of original terracotta units is unacceptable to enlarge any open.
Okay, fine, I got it, I read
Okay,
it.
now let's talk.
And I would
Not say.
Towers? No, we're not gonna talk.
Hold on. Let's finish with this. Let's
Okay.
do one at a time.
Right,
And then we can come back. So yes, but let's finish with this. We have, Susan, can you give me or Vicky for the proposed, except for the therefore be it resolved that reflects that we don't agree with the removal of the terracotta units and the window replacements?
With, Jason, what do they call them, like modern thin, I mean, they're tiny
the
frames,
mullions,
they're, yeah, it was completely,
frames,
well.
they
yeah,
didn't look so
around
tiny to me, to be completely honest with you.
They're like this, and they, more like a storefront than a double hung. They were changing a double hung,
To a
window to a single, sorry,
Yeah.
a single bay, a single basement, and
Yeah.
Okay,
you
but-
had rejected that, I think.
Yeah, that's the point of
So
my.
I think I would just put
So
that.
there are two lines of rejection in here and the rest is positive. So you recommend that the scope of work in the lantern portion of the Woolworth building be approved to include the minor modifications and clarifications above, except at, points noted to, removing original units for enlargement and window replacements, right?
In the placement of the problem, I do.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a positive and negative. You've got two negatives and the rest were positives. Is that right, Jason?
Yeah, I really feel like it was more like a recommendation, but look, again, like, now that everybody's spoken up, I really don't care. Just like,
Okay.
let's capture what was in the room, that's what I meant to
Right.
say, not, I don't care.
I just have two more things, just that I would just ask that after Two Park Place, AKA the Woolworth Building, a beloved landmark by Cass Building, built in 1913, so that people reading it know what it is we're talking about, because otherwise Two Park Place.
I thought it was
Can we just add that?
1915.
Yeah, what it is. that we're talking about? Okay, that kind of goes to the
19.
point, and then, excuse me,
Yeah.
two other points that were raised during that meeting. The applicant also agreed, the applicant architect agreed, sorry.
Lucy, are you taking notes for landmark changes to this resolution?
I have them here.
Okay.
He's agreed to one.
Yeah.
The applicants also agreed, that at the time, they agreed to look at the towers, the filigree towers, to bring them back to be open the way they were, or origin. Remember, they had agreed that they would look at that, and they agreed to look at the western side of the cone, the pinnacle, to
The
remove,
lantern,
thank you, to remove the metal sheathing that had been put in 1984.
these turrets that they call them, the buttresses?
Two things, the turrets
Yeah.
turrets were one, to open them back up. And the second thing was to remove the metal sheathing that was put on in the 80s on the back of the turret. Remember that? And they didn't like it either. And that was a great win that we could get in that building. So I would definitely ask that that get put in. And we did agree in committee on that. And I'm happy to write up that blurb.
Great, lovely.
Okay, thank you.
Picture. So,
It's not, but that's why I chose it as a slide.
okay.
Next question.
So the next question went back to the Link NYC one that Mimi said, because on the whereas, any proposed 5G towers to the site are not historically appropriate and unprecedented over the past 300 years in Lower Manhattan. Mimi's away.
Okay, so change it.
So, and not, so it would be, they are not historically appropriate and they are unprecedented,
Yeah.
period.
That's it.
Right.
So are light bulbs and telegraph.
Yes, but they do historically appropriate light bulbs for light bulbs. When we have an entire light bulb conversation about changing of the light bulbs in City Hall Park and how them.
Okay, do I get to call the question on all three?
Yes.
It's a second.
I hear a second.
It's fine, that's a dumb statement.
Yes.
But it's landmark. It's appropriate.
Find it.
It was called and it was seconded, and if people are quiet, then I will,
The
yeah.
reason there's also confusion is because, Landmarks had, in our opinion, erroneously approved some major changes to this poor building, some years ago.
Yeah.
And that's why we were also struggling with these changes. We didn't know how to filter them down.
Yeah.
I appreciate the work that the landmark committee does. There's a lot of,
We had Alice too with us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had all the mouths were there.
all right, so we've got all the changes, and Jason's got three resolutions. And the suggestion was to take it
All
together and second it. If
Right.
for any reason you are not voting yes on all three for what is written and what has been suggested and discussed, you must specify for Mimi which one you are not agreeing to. So this is a vote by affirmation. Are there any opposition? Seeing and hearing none, are there any abstentions?
Zelter abstained on 5G towers and fence.
Both of them. On both of them? Yes. Okay, thank you. Are there any other abstentions?
I'm gonna abstain on the whole work.
Abstain on
On
the
the
wall.
wall.
But who is it?
Netta.
Of course, Lori abstains on, Two Park Place. Okay, are there any recusals? Hearing and seeing none?
Oh, wait. Oh, I think I'm gonna oppose 5G.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hearing and seeing no other votes, all motions passed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. You had some really cranky stuff this month.
Okay.
Okay.
What a great way to launch you into the summer, right?
Right.
All right.
No, everyone, no one needs a refresher on 5G towers, right?
No.
Yes.
All right, I'm licensing. So,
Yeah, we're quickly running through the 5G towers. Okay, licensing, go.
I would like to take them in sections, is Tribeca, financial and battery, and see. Okay,
Okay, all right, so everybody's paying attention.
I hope. So there are no, the resolutions there are no big issues on the Tribeca. Okay, so if you're going for, I'd like to take Tribeca as a whole.
So just let me, for clarity, 428 Greenwich.
Yes.
61 Reed.
Yes.
And 378 Greenwich. We are
Yes.
entertaining questions only on those three at this point. But if you have a question, raise your hand. Vincent and then Jason.
I could have sworn 378, weren't they supposed to come back? Because we didn't have information from them. That was the one that the lady came, that she was on, virtual with us, and we couldn't get a resolution. And we asked her to come back.
There was something with the people didn't show up.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It's there, that's,
We said no to that one.
Okay,
okay.
all right, so Jason, you had your hand up.
Call the question.
Second. Awesome, so for Tribeca, it's two resolutions, one was a report, not a resolution.
Yes, sorry.
So it's okay, 428 Greenwich, 61 Reed, vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Are there any recusals? Motion passed unanimously. Financial district.
Okay, the reason I wanted to take them separately, I want you to all, if you haven't read it, 8 Park Place is in the Woolworth Building.
Yeah.
All right, so we had the Woolworth Building, a few months ago, on the Barclay side, and we did not agree to the 4 AM closing, all right? And we all agreed, and we will go to the SLA when the time comes. But they agreed to the hours, we allowed them on 8 Park Place. We gave a little, and I want you to all see this, so you're apprised of it, and that's why I'm calling it out. Francis and I felt very strongly we wanted you to know this. And that's what we're proposing, okay? And the other,
Did they sign the stipulation?
Pardon me?
Did they sign the stipulation?
Yes, here.
They did sign the stipulation, I believe. I don't have Zach here and Onesh, but I believe they
Zach?
signed the stipulation.
Did they sign the zip step?
I don't have that.
8 Park Place. Like, mean you don't know or you don't?
Onesh was
I
there,
don't know.
and I think didn't
There's
they
that
sign it?
today. She didn't transfer that information.
Can we vote?
Can I
to-
make a proposal?
Yeah.
To see if this is, that we will approve this if they have signed the stipulation, but they were very clear they were gonna sign it. I'm not making this up.
Believe me, I don't think you are. I just know that we had troubles with them.
Okay.
Last
so
time,
My view would be that we take 150 Greenwich. And then on 8 Park Place, we have an addendum or a caveat. I don't know
I have it.
okay.
It's signed.
You signed, I thought they signed it. And that's why we thought if they signed that, the one for Barclay is gonna be very hard for them to protest when they go to SLA. Because they signed this one and it's the same ownership. So anyway, so those two for the financial district, somebody can call the question?
Second.
What?
I was just gonna include Battery Park City in there.
Fine.
And the other,
Well,
I mean.
All fine.
Hold on.
Well, I have a question
Hold on,
on that.
well, no, I can't,
So
because
let's go
the
with
question is
financial.
called.
But not on this one. It wasn't called on.
No.
No, but not all on battery.
We're not finding it. What I'm saying is I can, include
She can't
Battery
do it.
Park City. Because the question was called and seconded, so I gotta keep going, as I
So
say.
let's do the one
So
for the
for
financial.
financial district, it's a vote by affirmation. Are there any opposed? Seeing and hearing none in opposition, are there any abstentions or recusals? Yeah.
Say that louder.
Can you go for 150 Greenwich for Scott, Sean Scott?
Sean Scott. Thank you, Sean. Any other abstentions or recusals? Fantastic.
All the
Move-
question on BPC and Seaport.
No,
No,
you already said you had a question.
Uh,
Well, I appreciate that. He did say he had a question, so.
Although it's not really substantive, I just want to know where this is. 100 West Street is a non-existent,
place, yeah.
non-existent address.
Fake address.
Mighty Twins, I thought it was inside the Hudson East.
Which one is it?
There is one inside Hudson,
Maybe this
but
is-
but
I don't
it's on
think
the
this is
second
it.
floor, not on the ground floor.
And it does say
It was
that.
inside the building. It says,
But what building?
It says store 249. It's a corporate change for Mighty
It was
Twins.
a private corporation.
Yeah, what building?
What building?
There is no
West
building
Street.
at 100 West
Yeah,
Street.
there's 90 West Street, there's 80
All right,
West
stop,
Street.
stop, stop. We'll get to the application. Let me go back.
Door number 249.
Let's make sure it's not just simply a typo. Just
Yeah.
give us a.
Wasn't it?
it was in the concourse.
It's located on the concourse.
I think, and the address may be wrong.
Yeah, but I know, but the
I don't
concourse
have my
is in
notes
Hudson
with me.
East, second floor of Brookfield Place.
Hey,
So that's.
stop. We're looking. Relax, folks, relax. We don't need to argue back and
I'm
forth.
not arguing with them, even though information.
Well, I
You
know.
know, I'm not arguing.
That's fine. I'm not, never
What
heard.
are we talking about?
Yes.
This is liquor license, right?
Yes.
100 West Street.
Mighty Twins.
I know it comes up on Google, but it comes up on a building that's actually 90 West Street, which has no restaurants in it.
Yeah, no,
Okay, so this says,
I think that.
Are they putting it out?
it's in Brookfield Heights.
it's, the postings are all around Brook, check it.
It's the food court upstairs.
It's,
Okay.
Isn't it the food court?
it is.
On the second floor.
Okay, so the address is wrong, but I know where that is.
Okay,
That
so
actual, that is the address that
That-
they provided.
That
that's
is what they
provided.
That's weird.
Well, let's check the address.
I'm working on it now.
But we have the number and we go on.
That's either.
Yeah, that's their application, so we will put a comment in here, which I think would be, wise to say, that 100 West Street is not the actual address.
Correct.
Yeah, they probably don't know it.
Weird, the kiosks.
Yeah.
I
they're-
think that's right.
He doesn't
I
know.
mean, it's a building that people know by name,
But
that
not,
nobody refers to.
that there is some question about the exact
Hudson East.
address.
Hudson East, but if it's in Brookfield, that
Well,
might
the
be
problem is,
200.
it's his liquor
It
license
would be
application.
225 Liberty or some street on VC.
VC.
Yeah, so we should note that on this, that we approve it, but we note that their address is not accurate.
Okay.
Which is
fine.
really interesting because their notary signed it.
Might be the official.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up online, it says 25.
You're talking a very big difference.
That's Brookfield Place.
It's like four
Okay,
blocks
so,
away from each
all
other.
right, stop. Done. We will recognize in the resolution that 100 West Street is not a legal address for this
As far as
location.
we know.
As far as we know, and we believe that the appropriate address is 225 Liberty.
And if we're doing this for time, could we also take the Seaport, which is a very simple one?
Yes.
Second.
All right, that works for me. All right, vote by affirmation, are there? Yeah. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? Any recusals? Motion passes unanimously for both resolutions. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank my committee. Oh, there.
Still there.
It's still there.
It's Hudson East.
I'd like to thank.
It's Hudson East. I have pictures and everything. It's
That's
just
so
weird.
right. Wait a minute, now, let me see if I'm voting on it. Hudson East. They have an office at Hudson. There's
Okay.
Just for clarification, Zach has looked up and apparently the Winter Garden has the
Yeah.
address of 100 West Street.
Wow, we all learned something today.
So it's gonna be a kiosk in the Winter Garden, are we?
Well, it's upstairs.
Upstairs. It's
it
upstairs.
exists
We're still gonna use the fact that 225.
Yeah, that's the bill.
Because they're not actually in the winter garden.
Yeah.
They're upstairs.
Yeah, okay,
And that building
Alright.
is 225.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, next, thank you. Who's next?
Transportation.
Yes, Betty, where are you? Come on up.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the slides.
Oh,
You got it? I'm pulling them up.
Yeah, I can't call them. Because I included some photos because I want people to get to see what some of our streets look like. And understand, I think you'll understand the issue a lot better.
Betty, will the slides are coming up?
Yeah, give me a sec.
No.
You have 4 resolutions. Is there anything you can review before your slides come up? Is there anything that's, is there anything that's easy that you would like to bundle and take together?
They all, yeah. I don't know how people respond. They responded very evenly in committee.
Can I have one comment? I think on the request to pave Little West Street, I think you mean to say Battery Place appears to have been forgot, I'm sorry, you mean to say Little West Street appears to have been forgotten, not Battery Place, it's just a.
Oh, yes, you're right. It is definitely.
Just as I was reading it, yeah, you're talking about Little West Street, so that's just a typo. So, and this,
Thank you,
Yes, so Dorothy, the next, we're gonna first talk about requesting, the paving Little West Street. This
Gotcha,
is the full length of it.
last, where,
One,
gotcha.
as you can see, it's not a terribly long street. It runs parallel with, West Street. Next.
and,
If these are non-controversial,
yeah.
you may not need all your slides, just saying.
Well, there's a.
You want to show
That's pretty easy, but also it's interesting, go to the next one. If you look at the side streets coming into it, I think this is first place. Anyway, they have obviously been repaved, which is why the court, we found out from the DOT, the Country Yard who has jurisdiction over the street. It's why all the roads that feed into it have all been refurbished, but this one hasn't. They think maybe it's, guess what? Port Authority.
And
Maybe has jurisdiction. The DOT is working to figure out who really say over the road anyway.
I don't know.
No,
It's likely state DOT.
so it also addresses the ponding, which is that they're fairly major.
Yeah, ponding is on.
So therefore be it resolved, and I'm sure you've all read it.
yes, let's move to the next one because we're gonna take them together, right? All right, everybody.
Improving street safety on Hudson Street.
Postpone?
Oh, this was postponed, so we're not doing that.
Hold on, there.
We're looking at Fulton Street and Cliff Street. Again, we're talking about just near Southbridge Towers. Yeah. And this was done, thank you, Eric. Well, it's not to scale, it shows you that there isn't really an intersection there. And this is the current configuration. So you can see the proximity to. If you look at the people trying to cross, there is no traffic control of any sort at this intersection. Everybody's kind of at their own risk to figure out what to do. That's confusing because if you look down Fulton Street, it is perpetually double parked.
Yeah.
Large trucks,
Every morning.
which is why visibility is poor. If you look down Cliff Street towards Southbridge Tower, you can see there's just all kinds of trucks and a lot of double park. You can see the Amazon truck cross loading on the street. It's chaotic for the people trying to cross the street, right? And it's a loading dock down there. And in fact, these trucks going to that loading dock on the side of 2 things, when you're going forward, they can be backing, they can be doing all kinds of. And Eric has a great video. There's curiosity. And for these little streets, there are in fact, these are the commercial spaces, they're filled with parked cars. So here's one of them. And so we're asking them to deal with all these issues. So we want traffic control, we want crosswalks, we want hardened daylighting so you can see people, and we want improved freight management. It's not working.
Anybody have any questions for this one?
There's another street involved, 1 block down, Water Street.
Yeah, that wasn't dealt with in this resolution.
But, so in terms of making an amendment.
We're not gonna change, can't make an amendment to change the whole resolution.
We didn't talk about.
Just to look at
Well, that we can make,
Because that's closer to the playground and also right in front of the,
well, we can look at that in the future, but it really.
okay, duly noted.
It's
Making a request.
Dealt with for the micro hubs, but we asked that some of the freight management be moved in that direction. So it's kind of complex, which is why I don't want to mix it up with this particular resident.
Go for it.
Say that live near Friday, I know that a lot of people that live in Friday, next to the school, utilize that area.
Right here, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with young kids, so I'm fully in support. Urge everybody else to support too.
Yeah, and there's a new building opening too along that part.
Pointed out, yeah.
Miriam has a question.
Mariama?
Call
I'm not gonna support it because I live on Fire Island and I live over there. Cliff Street is very, very tiny. It's been taken over by the police department. There's always police SUVs and trucks, like parked halfway in the street, halfway on the curb. If you're driving, you can barely get down the block. If you're walking, you can barely get down the block. There's a big city bike thing, like 100 bikes on this tiny little street. We don't need all those bikes there. They extend out into the street and they're opposite these police cars. And it's very difficult, again, to walk or drive down the block. So for that reason, I'm not going to support this. I think
But this is saying fix
things
it.
need to be removed from Cliff Street, not added.
Well, I'm confused.
Yeah, Miriam.
Hold on, stop. I'm confused at your comment, just so you know, me personally. Hold on, I hear what you're saying. I don't disagree. Between the temple, the mosque, the World Trade Center command station, the residential buildings, the hotel, there's a lot on that street.
Yes.
But I'm gonna let Betty take it back because this is just asking for them to fix it.
The intersection.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're complaining about.
Like, this is
That's all they're
the opportunity to fix the intersection.
They're saying
to
it's a
approve
thing.
all that.
It's specific to improving pedestrian and bicycle safety, and those are two things that are not, the bicycle shouldn't be there. That's one of the problems. There is a big pedestrian problem, but there's also a vehicular problem. There's a lot of trucks that have to go through there. Even if you try to keep out all the citizens, the private citizens, you're not gonna keep the cops out there, and they have to go down that little tiny street. So
Debbie, may I answer this one?
Eric.
So this is to have some traffic control devices, either stop signs or maybe even the traffic light, but I was pushing for a stop sign, on Fulton, not to change Cliff. It's so that people can cross Fulton, so whatever
But
is
it said on Cliff, right there.
yeah, at Cliff and Fulton, but the traffic control devices would be so that people can
On
cross.
Cliff and around the Fulton Street thing.
Well, it has to be on.
That's the way it's written.
Yes, because there aren't changes that have to be made on this north part of the street, because again, with Peak Foods there.
Okay.
You have those trucks coming and going, and you have the pedestrians coming down, and some of them are backing up down the street. Something's gotta be done.
Whoa. We're all saying the same thing, but the therefore be it resolved only highlights pedestrian and bicycles on Cliff. And what Mariam is saying is it's the intersection and it's safety overall. So why can't we just say to improve safety
On Cliff
for
Street.
all users of Cliff Street? All users.
No, but it was also to maintain the traffic flow, because you have a supermarket there and a lot of.
Hence, for all users.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that take care of everybody? Fantastic.
Users, yeah.
Why not say Cliff and Fulton? Because-
It says it.
It says it. Keep
It
reading.
says it.
Oh,
Okay, Betty,
Around
keep going.
but it's not
Around
just,
the
it's not just Cliff and Fulton, because it's all the way down Fulton from,
But I
from,
think
we're
Water
not
Street.
it's only talking about that.
Specifically about Cliff as it reaches into Fulton.
Only
We're
that intersection of it.
not talking. Yeah. Mariama.
Am I wrong about what daylighting is? Does it mean put another big obstruction there?
No, you are wrong.
Yeah, but
Yes,
that's.
you are, stop, you are incorrect, because what daylighting is, it is removing things at the edges of the street. So in the best case scenario, it would get the cop cars on the north side of Cliff Street off the corner. It's actually a good thing.
No,
Because it would
daylighting is
force them
curb
to stop
extension.
parking in front of
Yeah.
there, and it would force them, it just takes it back.
It
It
puts some,
gives you open space that you can see and stay lighted.
it puts something in the way so you can't park there or be there.
It can be an obstruction. It doesn't have to be an obstruction.
It can, but doesn't have to be.
It's on Fulton's.
Would be in.
Yes, those trucks that are parked there, double parked there, that are really blocking people crossing that intersection.
It's about safety for all users, period, which includes our commercial, includes our pedestrian. And that was accepted, I think, by Jess and Betty, yes, all users?
But there does need to be clarification though, because there's no specification that we want traffic control device when crossing Fulton at Cliff. That's where we want the safety, so that when we cross Fulton at Cliff.
9:08, the air conditioning goes off shortly, I'm just saying.
It's freezing.
So Betty, would you accept some clarification so that we can say a traffic control device to cross Fulton at Cliff Street?
You can't ask for a device, you have to ask for traffic calming measures, we've learned that. You can ask for a device, but.
Yeah, no, they are afraid to buy it.
Yes.
Okay, great.
For the DOT first.
Oh, DOT agreed, then that's a benefit that I've known.
That's what that would be.
Awesome. Jack? Please.
I don't-
Question.
No. I have a question on, I mean, I always thought hardened daylighting was a physical barrier basically in the street. I don't know what other kind of hardened daylighting there is, but this seems to be calling for narrowing Fulton by having a curb extension at,
So it's probably a granite block.
okay, by putting something in Fulton Street.
So that something like Amazon truck could not park there and do the crosswalking because there would be a barrier.
Also, to
Yeah.
be clear, this is almost all placard parking that's there right now.
No, I'm just thinking of navigating, I'd navigate,
So
If
what
you
you
narrow
narrow
Fulton
out
Street, it's gonna create a big traffic.
that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so I'm gonna go, this is what I'm gonna do, because, Little West Street seemed like we've got that click. Let's give a quick pause on Fulton and Cliff, come back, let it settle a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, Betty, go over the other two. If we need to take out Fulton and Cliff for further discussion, let's do so. I just don't want to railroad the committee on the one. So Liberty around Nassau.
Yes, this is put forward again by a resident in that area.
Any questions on that?
Sure do.
Jeff?
I favor everything in there except for one sentence, and the one sentence is enough that I would vote against it.
Okay, hit it.
Not necessarily asking to be changed, but be explaining a negative vote, and it's the second sentence in the final be it resolved, which is asking for automatic, automated enforcement, which I presume is speaking of parking, automatic enforcement of parking. And or citizen reporting, and the citizen reporting is when we spent an hour debating this at a previous meeting. And I think there was certainly a lot of negativity. I don't remember if it passed or failed. But everything else in here is great. It's kind of like putting in a controversial thing and it must pass spending bill.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not necessarily urging that it be changed, but I'm gonna vote against it because I feel strongly
Well, why can't,
negative towards this.
why can't,
Just a solution to improve traffic enforcement.
I would.
I love that answer.
Yes, that's correct. Take it blank and let them do what they decide is best.
Yes.
So again, CP1 implores our elected officials to legislate options.
To help meet the needs.
No, just the first,
First sentence.
just leave the first sentence, strike the second sentence.
Okay.
All right, that works for me.
Better, yeah.
Okay, great.
And by the way, I'm okay with Fulton Street.
Okay, so okay, so now we've made progress. We've got Little West, we've got Liberty, Canal. Anybody have any questions on Canal?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Vera.
I need to understand, I don't remember us approving the Canal Street redesign. And what that was all about. I understand, I work on Bowery, employees that daily walk past the Manhattan Bridge. The accident that happened, I don't want to conflate it with what's going on Canal Street. The accident that happened, which is extremely tragic, was where the Manhattan Bridge, the mouth of where you enter or get off the Manhattan Bridge, that's the Manhattan Bridge Plaza. So why are we completing the Canal Street redesign. With that, I understand Canal Street redesign is actually controversial, not, everyone in the community agrees to the redesign.
So Tammy, can I answer?
Jeff, go.
You're right in that, we are not approving the canal redesign because it doesn't exist yet. And, you're right that we are kind of conflating things with what's at the plaza, but this has become an almost yearly occurrence. It's been 18 people in the past 3 years who've been killed on Canal Street. 4,000 crashes in the past 10 years, so one of the most dangerous streets in all of New York City. And this board, for I believe over 20 years, since 2003, has been asking the DOT to comprehensively study this area and recommend changes. We have been asking over and over again, even in the past 5 years, for the DOT to move forward with that study and to give a design for Canal Street, any sort of improvements. And we just haven't heard from them. And everyone from our council member to our assembly members, the Congress member, the chairs of boards 1, 2, and 3 have all been calling for this. So this is just a resolution to just reiterate what we've all been saying. Not calling for any specific changes or improvements, but just asking for the DOT to do what they've been promising to do for 20 years.
So, I want to add to Vera, and I want Vera to speak and reply, but the one thing that I want to say is we are really sensitive to not stepping on other people's toes, right? We don't appreciate when CB2 says, absolutely, go ahead and drill into the cobblestones in CB1 because it's a great idea for us in CB2. It is terrible and disgusting what happened with those drunk drivers. It is flatline, unacceptable anywhere in this city. Yes, all 3 community boards have been asking for. The one thing I don't want to do, and I specifically said when Transportation Alternatives called and asked if we would speak at the rally, and I said, no, CB1 will not. We have our own transportation committee meeting that night, and it is not my intersection. I am there to support CB3 because that is their intersection. That is, they had meetings with DOT. They had meetings with NYPD. They know that intersection as well as we know all the ones on the other end of Canal, which belong to us. Which is why, for example, in the same meeting, we had a conniption because CB2 was like, yeah, go ahead, drill over there. I think that we are doing the right thing about highlighting the need for Canal. I do object in some ways to the pushing through of what we think should be done in their neighborhood. Because I talked to CB3 and asked, and they have been working on things with DOT and NYPD, short-term and long-term. That's not for us to tell them whether they're right, they're wrong, whatever. I think that there's a fine line that we need to thread through here to make sure that everyone is heard. We want to work together and coalesce with all 3 boards, but I do not want to have the temerity to tell them what's right for them.
So
I think that that is wrong, and that's my opinion, and I think this resolution smacks a lot to that, which kind of doesn't make me feel comfortable. It's a little sensational considering, but I want Vera to keep going, because Vera is our closest Canal Street worker. Vera.
No, I agree with what you were saying, Tammy, but I also, Jeff, what you said was what you're calling for, there is no redesign. There has been, the way this reso is written is as if there is a redesign. And I cannot accept that. If you're saying call for a study, where all community boards that are involved in the whole Canal Street area, that's one thing. But this is not calling for as if a redesign is being done.
But the DOT told us 2 years ago, that's exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. That's,
Well, but
So,
Then what is it? I don't know what it is. and it-
okay, so we did one resolution, Zach, and I searched for it when this came up. We had done a resolution asking for DOT to study Canal Street for improvements. And we passed that on the board. So we can tag back to that saying, we've already said this, we passed a resolution on X date. Where's the study?
that's what this does.
it doesn't, if I may.
Mariella has a question. Voted up or down.
Hold on, we're gonna go Justine, then Mariam, I see you in the back. Thank you, Desi, for telling me, because I can't see
Yeah,
something.
thank you. No, I mean, what I'm gonna say is, I agree with what you said. I don't think that's what this says in writing. And I think that, I mean, if that makes any sense, and I don't know if you agree with what you said, but basically, this is saying, in my mind, I'm reading this, and I'm saying, okay, well, we're supporting this Canal Street redesign project and we want them to implement it. And that's not what you're saying. And that, I mean, and that's not what I'm saying either.
Redesign project though, there is no,
There is no project, so you can't call it.
there is a project, but it's just that they haven't started it yet.
It's called Canal Street Revisioning,
Okay.
a visioning project.
Visioning project, not redesign. Okay.
And it was a project overview in 2022.
And it's too long ago to have started, so
That
we need
is-
it
I
updated,
mean-
as you said. Update I like.
There's a report that came out from it. And that is something that, if that's what you want to point to, I think that speaks, that is the DOT's name for the project.
Okay.
And what their observations were. So you can ask for, they had an outreach plan and an ambassador outreach summary that was done in 2022. So you can tag back to the Canal Street Visioning Project, which is what it was called, because it's a DOT resource, and say what plans have been created that came from the Canal Street Visioning Project.
We
You
don't know.
have to change the wording on this too much. It's because it is asking for a substantive update. Which-
Okay, I mean, it's a substantive update of the status, or,
Change the name.
yeah, but how about a substantive update, not on the status, but on the Canal Street visioning? Because we want to know what it says, right? Or do you know what it says?
Okay, so CP1 requests that DOT immediately provide CP1 with substantial update on the status of the plans for Canal Street improvements based on the Canal Street Visioning Project
We have to look at what that visioning project.
summary from spring.
That was something different.
No,
I don't know.
I think we are referring to the project that they said was going, like, and this is mirroring the language of the letter that you signed and the congressman and the council member signed, and the assembly members. They mentioned the Canal Street redesign project, which is not, it's not started. It's something that was promised and has just not gotten underway. And we're just asking for an update on that.
we have from the visioning project. And there's no name out there about Canal Street redesign. That's, I
Is
mean,
that-
it's, but what we're talking about in the summary plan that came out in spring 2022 included merchants, included traffic, included pedestrians, included bicycles, included delivery vehicle parking, incoming, outgoing deliveries, double park. It included everything. There's a 32-page report that there's a summary out there on that we can easily point to because it is a very comprehensive thing. And it shows that nothing's been done since
Yeah.
spring of 22.
I'm okay with that. That seems to me to be more calling for more specifics than just asking for an update on the redesign project. But it looks like we also have a hand up from Robin.
Couple of hands.
Oh, Robin.
Couple of hands.
Hi,
Okay. We're gonna let Robin go because Robin did something interesting.
hi, again. I just wanted to say that I can tell you that the city is hyper-focused on this location, and we are looking at both some immediate and long-term interventions. You will be hearing about outreach very shortly and community engagement up to and including the study that is due, I don't know, in the first part of 2026. The implementation is slated for then. So I just share that with you. Some of you will be hearing, Tammy, you certainly will be hearing more from the city about this. And, stay tuned.
So that's good news, sort of. I mean, 2026 is coming, so. Yeah, interesting. Thank you, Robin. That's good news. It's a positive out. We have a deadline, right? That almost sounds like a deadline to me. Does that is that what everybody else in the room heard?
Yeah, 2026.
A 2026 deadline that we'll have a plan?
Well, the engage, well,
I'm just
the
checking.
the
I
plans,
understood
the plan for this project is for implementation in the early part of 2026. I know the letter that was sent by the elected officials mentioned a different date, and I'm just reporting what I know to be true. So,
Do we know what would be implemented? I think that's the problem, Robin, going back to Vera's.
well, I
point,
think
is the
there's
community-
gonna, I think that will be determined through community and public engagement that will be starting shortly. There's
Does
a
that-
sort of short-term look that's happening, and of course, the longer-term situation for the area, the Canal Street corridor. More than that, I can't tell you because a lot is unanswered, but I just wanted to let you know that there is a hyper focus, of course, right now. And we are looking to do some, you'll forgive the technical expression, short-term stuff. And then with an eye towards a longer-term project rollout in the, in the coming months.
Okay, thanks, Robin. Mariama, then Cody, then Mark.
I wanted to agree with Vera, co-sign with what she said. From the community's perspective, what needs to be corrected is the Manhattan Bridge Plaza, where there's illegal activity, basically similar to what Pat was describing earlier at the Brooklyn Bridge. People selling things, it forces people into the street, into the roadway, and that's where the problem lies, according to the community. They would not call for anything on Canal Street, and the Canal Street portion is extremely controversial. And these recent events have been used by transportation alternatives to further their agenda. They didn't come out the way they did with this most recent rally when Priscilla Lope was killed by a bicycle. That they haven't responded to that yet. In fact, they continue to fight Priscilla's law. So I just think that we need to be careful about what we're getting involved in and what we're staying out of as a community board, where we don't know the ins and outs. I mean, I do, but the rest of the board doesn't. And I think we should avoid it. I think the city should stay away from it too, not following by a nonprofit, not following what they say, but talking to the community instead. So I'm happy to hear from Robin that there's plans for community engagement and public engagement, because that's who needs to be engaged, not a nonprofit with its own agenda.
Cody, then Mark, and then I have another update. Cody?
Real quick, like, I would hope some of those immediate quick stuff, solutions involve bollards that protect.
Bollards?
Hard concrete bollard that would protect pedestrians and those pedestrian plazas. Also, to keep in mind, people cross the bridge at like 35 miles an hour, which is really pretty fast in the streets. So since just a fact, since congestion pricing was implemented, the amount of traffic crosses the bridge has dropped by 8,000 cars daily, according to THC.
Which is probably why they can now get to 35 miles an hour, because before that, you know, crawling. I mean, now, good and bad, but
That's right.
if there's less traffic, more cars.
Stop, Justine.
Let's go.
Okay, Cody, are you good? You done? Mark, you're next. Oh, Mariama? We're never gonna get out of here if we keep crossing. Mark,
Yeah,
you're next.
so thank you for declining the invitation of the radical nut job group, Transportation Alternatives. So,
Mark,
things in here like safety measures, hyper focus, traffic calming, ensure safety. These are all code words to how are we going to screw over everyone who is in a vehicle and take away lanes. The thing about this
Mark.
committee, it's always. Can I please just finish? Is always one-sided. there's never anything in here that's like, all right, you want to make these improvements, but don't take away any more lanes. It's already congested enough, and it's self-created by the city, and then they complain about congestion. So this resolution is ridiculous. I make a motion to table.
Second.
And so a motion to table has been made and seconded. You have to vote on the table. Mariama seconded. We will do a roll call on this.
Oh.
Or, you know, we can still vote by affirmation.
9:27.
9:27.
Exactly.
Let's just go along. Let's just do it. See what happens.
Roll call. I'm gonna roll call it.
Okay.
Emma Russo.
Wait, can I?
Yes
do it on
to
the
table.
I'm so sorry. Blank.
Blank abstains.
All right, thank you. Cameron.
Gone.
Okay. Cassell.
Cassell left also didn't feel
Got it. Shane.
No to table.
No to table.
Well, you said no.
Yes, you did.
Chapman.
No to table.
No to table. Charcudian.
No to table.
Cole.
No to table.
Coleman.
No.
Nope. Got it. Corman.
Stays.
Kucha.
Abstains.
Curtis.
Curtis, yes.
Disabled. Dimick.
Dimick abstains.
Okay. Flynn. I'll get back to me. Friedman.
Friedman.
Not here anymore?
No, he left.
Okay. Galloway.
Yes to table.
Goldstein.
Goldstein.
Good kind.
Good kind, yes to table.
Thank you. Hernandez.
No.
James.
Yes.
Kay.
No.
Cannell.
No.
Capel.
Bell.
It's a surprise vote. Lyon.
No.
Meltzer.
No.
Minsley.
No to table.
Moore.
No to table.
Pendia.
No.
Portia Corey.
No.
Rios.
Santiago. I think Santi's gone.
Everybody's Robinson.
Robinson, no to table.
Alrighty. Rossi. No, Rossi. Scott, Sean Scott, sorry.
John Scott, no.
John Scott.
Abstain.
Stark.
No.
We still in quorum?
Farrison.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
Selter.
Filter, no.
I'm not gonna be here later, so I'm gonna say no to table.
Thanks, baby.
I'm gonna be here later, so no to
All
table.
right, so what is the vote, please?
We're not tabling.
Not table.
What is the vote?
Oh, it's 7 in favor, 20 opposed, 5 abstain.
Can we get clarification? Has the motion been modified since it's beyond what's printed here? So we know what
Not yet.
it is?
Yes, I'd like to. Yes.
Well, now we're back to the resolution. The motion to table has failed.
Okay.
Right, so you have heard some of the feedback that has come. We need to be careful to ensure that whatever we're asking for comes with the community engagement. Pursuant to what some of the people have said who were asking about tabling it, is the fact that there is no design project yet done and that it has to have community engagement. And that seems to be missing. DOT-based community engagement. There is a level of mistrust that has been acknowledged by several people on this board. I am not going to disparage any organization. There are advocacy groups everywhere. You name it topic, there's an advocacy. Technically, the community board is an advocacy group. So let's make sure when we're talking about others, we are not disparaging the groups that they come with, whether you agree with them or not. All right? And that is for all of us. Right? I get it. It's a weird time on a pendulum in the city, but we can be better than that. And we can support safety for all users. That's the goal. So with Jess and with Betty and everybody from transportation, let's make sure that this resolution talks about safety first and foremost, a little lower on the rhetoric, and that a plan is designed by DOT with community engagement, right? That's what we're asking for. Is that the case?
Yep.
Yeah, I just need to get the wording of it. May I make a
So-
suggestion?
CB1 requests DOT immediately provide CB1 the substantive update on the status of plans for Canal Street.
Good.
Yes, that's good. Okay, that's kind of what I was gonna say.
Absolutely.
And without further delay,
I
Present
have
a
an
proposal.
amendment, I have an amendment to the resolution.
hold on a
That's what we're
second,
doing now,
Mark,
but yeah.
that's what we're doing. Engage the community
Yeah,
I
To
thought you were
get-
voting.
to get input and present a proposal on Canal Street.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Does that mean we're dropping the first be it resolved?
it's almost,
Uh,
it's almost repetitive.
Stop the lane.
Let's, if it's gonna make it easier, let's cut the entire first therefore.
Yeah, that's the way.
That'll make it better.
Well, we can just say, begin implementing long plan safety upgrades.
Well, except we don't
But
know what
we
those
don't know
are.
what those are, so don't say long plan. How about
And
begin?
we don't wanna say implementing at all.
All right, so let's just strike it. Let's just strike it. And we got our, therefore be it resolved, CB1 requests that DOT immediately provide CB1 with a substantive update on the status of plans for Canal Street. And without further delay, engage the community to receive input and then present a proposal for Canal Street.
Does the committee accept the amendment?
That's what we're asking.
Jess is handling this one.
For safety issues,
It's a substantive plan for Canal Street.
Which
I mean,
means safety. What else? are we talking
every-
about?
Well,
Transportation too, but.
And yeah,
There's a lot of, there's more than just safety.
yeah, it's more than just.
and you touch on the redevelopment issues.
But we don't,
We don't want to.
I know, that's why I'm saying, is the language clear enough not to?
yes, I think the what
so,
you
yeah.
said,
It's
yes.
general, we're not being prescriptive of what they need to do. We're not telling them that you need to do curb management, you need to do this.
We're talking about safety, being more specific about the general topic as opposed to.
No, I like what she said, but I
25 minutes.
think, like.
And then present a proposal to improve safety along Canal Street. And that's it, just safety along Canal Street.
Can we be specific?
Betty
And we're
was
looking
adding,
for input from the residents of Chinatown and the immediately surrounding area.
Well, you said the
We
community.
said the community.
The community.
We said the community, that includes all of us, yeah.
Canal Street's a long road.
Well, we have these hearings a lot of times, people that don't live in the area weighing in.
We hear you.
Understood.
And
Yeah,
started out with some concern about stepping on the toes of CB3.
yeah,
So my question, what was going to be suggestion? What about dropping the second whereas?
I would love to.
And for the third whereas, just get rid of the.
I
It's
think
not
you-
like since 2022, 18 New Yorkers have been killed. That includes the whole land, which includes.
I think that's great. I think taking off the second one.
You don't wanna talk about 2025 and the stolen vehicle?
No,
Because that wasn't in our district.
Even that's not really fair to me.
It's that, yeah.
Mentioning the people killed by bikes in the same area.
Which is why we're
Taking
taking
it
off
out.
the second
Got it.
whereas. So
So
the first one stays, the third one stays.
Except for the first
And
one.
just get rid of the first sentence of the third one, because it makes no sense. We're taking out the first paragraph.
Yeah, if it sounds familiar, comes out. That whole first line comes out.
Mm-hmm, that makes sense.
Okay.
So taking out the second.
Second whereas.
We're done editing.
Looking.
No, we got another guy.
One.
Oh,
We didn't vote on
You're
it.
right.
But no, but I say, if the committee doesn't.
All right, I think that looks great. We've narrowed it down to our district. We've talked about community engagement. We're still saying, please do something, get off your butt.
Yeah.
We know from Robin that something will be done. We don't know what it is. We've included community engagement, making sure that nothing's just, here's our plan.
And
Anybody have anything else? It reflects the committee, talks about safety.
Oh, yeah.
I have an amendment.
Oh, come
Would you
on,
consider
guys.
taking out this part, this sentence? It doesn't take a traffic expert to understand why.
Oh, where is?
okay, it's the fourth.
Yes, that is
I'll be amended.
inflammatory. Thank you.
And then the other one is, city officials cannot feign surprise.
That is, I actually like the temperature on that. Mark?
Yes, I have an amendment to be balanced here. That any redesign by the city does not eliminate any vehicular traffic lanes.
We're not talking about anything like that, Mark, no. That is
All right, then
very
in the fifth,
unbalanced.
then all right, if you're not going to do that, then in the fifth whereas, eliminate the request for dedicated bicycle lanes. If we're not going to make any requests, eliminate that.
In the whereas.
That's a good point.
Yes.
Yep.
Either you do both or you do neither.
Well,
Okay.
You can't have it
well,
both ways. It can't be all one-sided for pedestrians and
Yeah.
bicycles, and vehicles are always
Mark.
ignored.
Mark, I apologize, but you are incorrect because that exists in a resolution that we passed
Absolutely.
in 2024.
Decided the red.
It's already in there, so I'm sorry because
All right.
we've already gone on.
What exists? What exists?
Wait. Point of order. Don't we let the committee that worked on it have a voice in this? If they accept his amendment, it's okay. If they don't accept it, I think we should move.
But he's saying it's biased and it's not biased. 'cause
No,
we've already
excuse me.
said
Actually,
that.
point of information, that's incorrect. There's no such thing as a friendly amendment. I made an amendment. If someone seconds it, then we vote on it. It has nothing to do whether the chair accepts it or not.
Nobody.
Those are
seconded-
Robert's
Nobody
rules.
seconded.
We're also clarifying
Nobody
what he said
seconded.
was incorrect. That part of it is just citing a past resolution. That's
That
all.
is
I
correct.
hope nobody seconds.
Actually, one of the problems.
Okay, all right, stop. Mark, it has not been seconded. There is somebody else. I thought I heard, you said question in the room.
Well, Robin has our hand
We
up.
gotta move on.
Okay, then you have to call the question.
I'll
Call
call
the
the
question. No, all right, with all, it has been.
I didn't hear the
called and
last
seconded.
minute. I didn't hear, Robin, Tammy, I didn't hear the last minute. My computer froze.
Okay, I'd be happy to update. Your motion was not seconded. And then there was a motion made that we call the question on this, and that was seconded, so we are moving on. So we now have all of transportation to do together as one large vote, because we've gone over every resolution. We're taking them together. If you don't like something, when it gets to your point, you say your last name and whichever specific one you want to change the vote. This is, again, a vote by affirmation for Little West Street, Fulton and Cliff, Liberty and Nassau, and Canal Street, all four together. Do I hear any opposed?
No.
Which
For
one?
which one? All four.
Wait, but one of them's paving Little West Street.
You don't want to pave Little West Street?
He just wants a program.
Okay. Any other in opposition? Francis?
Amoruso opposed.
For which one, Mark?
All of them.
Mark, you don't want to allow people to repave the road?
Yeah, I opposed all of them. Yep, I opposed all of them. That's my vote.
Okay. All right, fine. Clarification, Mark is opposed to everything. Francis, you were Fulton and Cliff. Are there any others in opposition?
Hold on, let's just take 1 second. Francis,
Fulton and Cliff, she's opposing.
what's your last name? Say your last name.
Curtis.
Thank you.
Fulton and
Fulton.
Eric,
You opposes canal.
thank you.
Wait, I missed.
You opposes canal.
Oh, and then Amoruso.
Opposes.
And Mariana.
Son,
Staying from canal.
Son. Oops.
yeah, exactly. Good kind.
Good kind opposes canal.
Thank you. Any other opposition in the room to anything? Anybody else online? Are there any abstentions? Seeing no more abstentions in the room, are there any recusals? Thank the good Lord, no. Thank you.
So wait, good kind, was it an abstention or an opposition?
She abstained.
No,
Oh, you opposed.
Canal.
Okay, it was before we got to.
No. Yeah. Jeff Galloway, you are 4 reports. I beg you to be less than 4 minutes.
I will be less than 4
And
minutes.
then Patrick's taking us home.
And
And we're torturing Mimi tonight.
I have a bunch of slides. No, go back, because I'm not going to use any of the slides except for the agenda slide.
Okay.
So go back.
Oh, he can go pretty fast through them. Just
No.
Somebody needs to back up one.
It's
You tried.
All right. So the only thing I'm going to talk about is, other, meeting is this project of neighborhood enhancements. And the main reason I'm going to talk about it is they're coming back to us in September after they've taken input, from our meeting we had in July. We had another meeting on this in May. And so if you are interested in any of these things, please come to the September meeting. And the things that they are talking about are wayfinding and signage, primarily focused on during construction, but also some general improvements of wayfinding and signage. Some intersection improvements, and this has a transportation committee sort of feel to it, and the thoughts came both out of transportation and Battery Park City Committee. Third thing is West Street lighting, that's pedestrian area lighting, it's very dim there, and they have some ideas on that. And the fourth thing is a means of activating Esplanade Plaza, where the volleyball court is, during construction, when it will be isolated for at least 18 months and maybe longer during the construction. Everything around it will be closed, so pedestrians will not naturally go there because they can't go to the marina. The Esplanade south of there will be under construction and not accessible, and so they have some ideas for activating. If you're interested in any of this, come to the September meeting. Also, I see Dog Run Working Group that was not covered at the meeting, and they were supposed to present to us in September on that, and there's some renovation programs for the dog runs. Otherwise, watch the YouTube.
And thank you, Jeff. I will tell you that I've gotten 14 photos and 3 people reaching out to me for the Dog Run Working Group. Please have a discussion about, I know signage is needed in Wagner. It's not there yet, but there needs to be greater education that there should not be dogs freely launched on the brand new
We'll
lawn.
have a discussion about that.
Okay,
And did we never do anything with the legislation?
Patrick, take us home.
We did discuss it.
All right, one non-controversial but important resolution on land use. It is for the city's 3rd amended lease with Chung Pak. It's to provide, about 6,000 square feet of.
And they hung in here all night.
For our meeting and are obviously here tonight. I say it's not controversial because both sides came in support of the application for the amended lease. We also received a number of support letters from community organizations throughout Chinatown and around. We had a couple of concerns which I've expressed in the resolution. I hope everyone's read it.
Yes.
Questions?
Comment that if you go to the BBJ meeting tomorrow, you must remember that the 20,000 square foot of community space that we were told that the community was getting has nothing to do with the 5,960 square feet of space that Chung Pak has. I don't care how many times we need to say that, but yeah.
Very different.
It's separate and apart, and it's gonna be built.
It's separate apart, it's separate in the points of agreement, they're not at all related, there's no correlation back and forth. And there is a sense based on what DCAS said that, Robin's not here listening to it, but we just don't want to be screwed. And we don't want
Yeah.
Chunk Park to be screwed,
No.
and we don't want the community to be screwed, period.
And it says it here in the whereas.
Yes. And that's
So
why
do
that's
we
in
call,
there.
we call for questions, Tammy?
Second. Let's get this out of here. Reverse call? Nope. All right, so for tonight, while Mimi's getting roll call ready, I want just a round of applause for Mimi, who's been an amazing secretary. So welcome. If you're wondering why we had French fries tonight were in honor of Mimi. So I'm gonna personally say that I will miss Mimi more than maybe many of you for many, many reasons. Not only for her roles as secretary, her humor, her ever sense of fairness and inclusivity on our board is really something that we should all try and model.
And public bathrooms.
And public bathrooms. She works tirelessly to get public bathrooms throughout New York, and she's very considerate for all users. So with that, all right, take us away.
Hold on.
Or I'm gonna do it.
What is it called when you do the tape? All right. Okay. All right, everybody. I would like to take this moment to say that it's been an honor to serve with you all, an honor to serve you. And I believe that integrity and compromise is really important. So keep that in mind as you continue to bicker each other through all of this. And get to know each other personally. It's really important. So anyway, I love you all. Cherish the time here. And so like, feel free to say hey. I'm gonna learn how to parley boo Francine or whatever it is. But whatever, I'll figure it out. No, that's the post record.
Yep, we're all coming to find you,
Can't
don't
find
laugh.
it's big city, it's big city, New York. Amoruso.
What are we
Yes.
voting? What are we-
Chunk Park,
We're voting on Chung
Chunk
Chung.
Park. Last reso, roll call.
Yes,
So there's all
yes.
Yes, okay, got it.
Love that.
Blank.
Like, yes.
Shane,
Wow.
thank you. Chapman. Thank you. Charcudian,
Sarkodian, yes.
thank you. Cole,
Oh, yes.
thank you. Coleman,
Yes.
thank you. Corman, thank you. Kucha,
Lucia, yes.
thank you. Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
thank you. Dimick,
Dimmitt, yes.
thank you. Oh, Flynn, yes.
Yes, I'm.
Galloway,
Galloway, yes.
thank you. Goldstein. I think Goldstein.
Golding's gone.
No, I think he's been mine. We gotta change the numbers. Good kind. Thank you. Hernandez. Thank you. James.
James, yes.
Thank you. Kay. Thank you. Canal.
Hell, yes.
Thank you. Lion.
Yes.
Meltzer.
Meltzer says happy birthday, Susan Cole, and yes.
Let's do this third.
What?
Oh, I screwed it up. Minsley.
Minsley, yes.
Thank you. Moore.
More than all.
Thank you. Kenya.
Yes.
Thank you. Portia Corey.
Happy birthday.
Portia Corey.
Portia Corey's not here?
Robinson.
Je t'aime, Mimi. Au revoir.
I'm ready for breakfast.
And your vote?
We don't know that.
In English, please.
That's you and
Robinson, yeah. I know that.
Thank you.
Rossi.
Rossi, yes.
Oh, I should start saying that to my wife. Oh, John Scott.
Yawn.
Gabby, don't forget.
We're gonna nice job.
Sean Scott. Thank you. Star.
Star, yes.
Thank you. Vera Sung.
No, just let her get through it, guys. That was Vera's song?
Yes. Eric, you.
Eric was in the bathroom, I saw him, or in the back rather, in the hallway, I saw him.
Eric.
Oh, keep going.
Zelter.
Zelter, yes.
Thank you.
Eric, Jess, will you pop your head and yell down the hallway and see if Eric's there?
Eric. See if Shakori is there too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, with that, voting's done, meeting is adjourned, 9:52.
You.